We gotta find. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find. Gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue.
You're my hero, Kamoji.
Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. Now what do we do? That's the first clue. We gotta find the program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue. The program. That's the first clue. We gotta find. That's the first clue. That's the first clue.
What is going on? How's everybody doing tonight? Man, breaking stuff happening. Breaking stuff. Apparently, Vincent Martin and Morale are fighting. Yo, what's up, Simon? What? I'm pulling it up here. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Bear with me. I'm trying to look into this. little thing a little bit. Oop. So there's that one. Here we go. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Let's bring me up. Let's see what's going on. Man, the there is a lot of shit going on online today. I feel like every time I turn around, there's some insane shit that I never thought would happen again. First, we got uh, Tectone stuff. Turkey Tom getting accused of all sorts of different things. His response. And what is this? Let's bring this up. Oh, I gotta go back and see. Okay. Is this the original one? Okay. All right. All right. Let's take a look at this. Let's see what's going on here. Whoop. There I am. Look, all looking good as usual. Let's bring this up. Boop. So I see this today, 7:18 p.m. I'm not sure where this came from, but Morale, and I was listening to a little bit of his stream, so we'll see. And it just, I don't know. Alleged lolicon and EP YouTuber Vincent Martin has made 18 pedophile coded EPI lolicon edits on YouTube featuring several underaged anime girls, one of which is a foot fetish EP edit in order to introduce children into the foot fetish community. Okay, where has this come from? Like, what actually happened here that brought this up? Will Vincent Martin be arrested for his behavior? Will he respond? This is truly disgusting and violated YouTube TOS policy. I'm not saying we should mass report Vincent, but to what end should we be protecting our youth from demonic behavior? This is just like looking over this. It just looks like morale being morale, and of course, I've looked at other stuff. Like here's this. Vincent has responded. Did I make the delusional cat mad? It, am I not following Vince? What the heck happened here? I know I was following Vince. I don't even want to. Does this guy really think this is the own he thinks it is, even if true? Yeah, I mean, I was seeing some of the videos and I don't know. I'd have to see more, but from a very short segment on someone else's stream, it looks like lolly coded, sure. But it still managed to like, what the fuck is this? I was also listening to Morale's stream. So I saw this, and while I was getting ready for stream, I went ahead and jumped on and took a listen to what he was saying. And one thing he clearly said in there is he didn't really care about the pedophile allegations, but that he was, oh yeah, that down there. Yeah, we could probably turn that down a little bit. But that he was just trying to get Vincent on because he dislikes him, which I don't think you should be calling people pedophiles just because you dislike them. Didn't we have this whole thing with Otterly Noah calling him a pedophile? But no, he's doing the same thing, I guess, because he doesn't like Vince. I get it. None of the commentary guys like Vince. I personally think his videos against the commentary community, the new commentary community, as he calls it, are bad. But to come out and just do all of this, like, what led to this? What was there had to be something besides just something, that happened. Um, oh, maybe this was it. These guys are massive hypocrites. Morale can definitely be one. Yeah, I agree with that. Really, are we? Let's make this bigger. Let's see what we got here. We can have a conversation via Discord call that is live streamed. Past that, I have no interest in speaking with you anymore. Understood. Everything about your content with you. This is from back in November 2024. Let me know if you change your mind. I won't. I'm live now. Debate me or you're proving yourself to be a coward and run pedophile. Oh God. Oh God.
Hey, Kendrick just opened his mouth. And I'm about to put my dick in it right now. Then I put it in his ass. Now he running butt naked all over my house. I'm about to make him gay tonight. Back shots with both of my hands in his mouth. I know that he want it for real. Good sex with polo socks on mama's couch. I treat him just like all my hoes. I bust it, make him spit it out of their mouth.
Oh God.
Struck a chord, and then he and it's probably a minor. Struck a chord, and then he just posted the lolly.
Dude, the lolly could be a fucking infant. I wouldn't give a shit. I just thought the picture was funny.
And it's probably a minor. Struck a chord, and then he just posted
Morale, why are you calling Vincent a pedophile when you
Dude, the lolly could be
don't
a
give a
infant.
shit about
I wouldn't
lolly?
give a shit. I just thought the picture was funny.
And it's probably a minor.
Jesus fucking Christ. Everyone knows how I feel about it. While you don't necessarily have to call someone a pedophile for liking lolly, I believe if you're jerking off to lolly, you have certain preferences, we'll say, to women. Keep that to yourself. Yeah. I don't know what spurred these allegations where Morale has to fucking come at him for that, but I think the fact that Morale has said some of the very same things over and over and over again, yeah, it's kind of fucked. They get Grump at Pump Masks IRL, but Chibi is over here full on public gooning to it. I don't think any of these guys actually like Pup like Chibi, right? Drama farming is what? It seems like he's trying to drama farm, sure. But for what reason? Like, is it just because he wants to? Does he have something? Is there a gotcha? What's going on here? I don't know. This is pretty fucked, I think, on Morale's part. Yeah. Vincent owns you, bud. Sorry. Vincent owned you on that one. Oh. Oh, man. So, anyways, let's actually get our game pulled up first because I want to show off. Dude, I've become addicted to this game. Absolutely addicted. And it is, where is it? Where'd you go, game? Where did you go? Bum, bum, ba, da, ba. Dude, Deck of Haunts, man. So I got on today and I was like, okay, Deck of Haunts is going to be the next one. Jersey is the one. Scary Jersey is the one who pointed it out to me. And I was like, this looks interesting. I'm not really a card game or deck builder kind of guy. So I thought, I'll try it out, right? I'll try it. I've enjoyed some deck building games, but they're usually pretty short lived, and I don't really get very far in it. Like I played the Spire one. I always forget its name, and I only played it until I beat it the first time, and then like I never went back with any of the other characters. Not a creative or original bone in their bodies, so they got to manufacture drama to get semblance of attention. Oh, Gusto frying simulator? That might Gustavo frying simulator. Yeah, I guess. I mean, there's so much. Like, if you're a commentary guy, there's so much to cover right now. Like, it's. I don't want to get into like the normal commentary drama stuff, right? Like, I'm obviously gaming commentary, so I try and stay in that lane. Sometimes I like to dip into it, especially with people like Tectone, though I'm behind on that stuff. And I mean, it's pretty obvious that he's just fighting to try and maintain his career amongst all of this stuff. Including, he's taking down other people with his career and them just defending him any way that they can. They'll never. I've never, probably not watching Watch Dogs on Grums, to be honest. I'm just trying to block out the orbiters. That's fair. That's fair. I'm trying to get back into it. I was kind of off for a little bit, but I'm back. You know me. I like going back and forth with them. Let's actually. This music is loud as fuck. Hold on. Go. It's like he forgets he's leading a movement. He also forgets that he's making a game. Oh, with Tectone. Ever since Tectone he's just so weird. The thing is people have known who Tectone was for years. There's been no surprise in that. Like Tectone is like one of those people that you look at and you're like, yeah, I know that guy is fucking weird as fuck. I know that guy is not trustworthy. He just gives that vibe off. So anyway, this is Deck of Haunts. So card building game where you go through and you're a haunted house and you're trying to kill or drive anybody who comes into the house insane. As you can see, I have a run right here. I'm 33 nights in on that run. I've made a busted deck that I'm going to try and play right now. That's right, game time. I'm going to try and run the same busted deck that I'm doing, but it's going to be on hard mode. It's creative deck because I like doing my own deck building, and I've gotten to the level that I can do that. Maybe I'll try and do it with other decks, but man. And there's just so many things you can do. Like I really enjoy some of the things you can do with this deck or with these decks. I want to try other things, but this one was so absolutely busted. I have to try and get it in there. One thing I'm going to do, which I think it's weird that they do, is they give you the upgraded versions. I think when you make your deck, you should not get the upgraded version. Like you should only be able to pick the normal ones and go through it that way, which is what I'm going to do to see if I can upgrade it, which means I have to be a little bit more careful with the way I'm building, with the way I play this deck. Because the other way, when I was picking, just whatever, it was nuts. Okay, we want 2 of those. We want 2 of those. I need to have 4 cards left. Tension no longer decays. Where are you? Oh, no. This isn't going to work. We're going to have to go. No, we got to get rid of that one. Because I need 2 of these. And where are you? 1 more of those. I have 2 cards left. Where are you, my sheep? Dude, these sheep are absolutely busted. I first played, and the first thing I wanted to try was the what is it called? The drain deck, where it drains their life and you drive them insane. But I was having no luck with it in normal play. So I probably don't need 2 of those. I can probably do it with 1 and actually do like 3 sheep. Where are you, sheep? Where are you, sheep? Also another one that I might be able to get away with if I went with one card. I've been kind of adjusting this deck a little bit to see how I can make it work farther, you know, better, more awesome. Sheepy, sheepy, sheepy. They need a pig, though. They need a boar. We're going to say that. Okay, we got that one. Well, there you are. Sheep. So are we going with that? This one's the tension one. Actually, there's a copycat one where you can copy a card. It's a copy of a random card you played last turn. You discard, draw a card. Let's go with that one. Oh, I need one more. Let's get another sheep. Sheep, 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 sheep. Boom. So the idea of this deck is that I'm going to be constantly going through my deck as fast as possible. Like right now it takes 3, it's 3 points. But if I do this, then I get 4 points. So, you know, obviously this turn is not going to work. So we'll hit those guys with the sanity. Once the deck starts rolling and really gets going, you can do this. Now I have all these guys. 5 points. 3 cards. Let's do... When I discard, then we do this again. There we go. And look, I can do that. Do that. And then do this again. Now I got 7 points. And you just keep kind of going until you can't do it anymore. And like these guys already have 4 mass psychosis for each room in the room, or for each person in the room, drain 1. So I'm going to do 4 damage to them. Eventually I'll get other stuff that will raise the tension, and it'll kind of start to get out of control with the amount of cards I can get. But what we're going to do is get these guys up to where I can kill both of them. Let's get some cards, but then we do this. Now we can do it twice. 1 and 1. There we go. That'll do it. That'll kill everybody there. And then we just end turn and they die. This is, I love actually doing stuff like that. Like this is so much fun to do. I don't really want either of those. Let's do one more. And I'm actually going to skip. I'm going to skip that one. So, yeah, this was what I'll be playing in the background. We'll see how far I can get with this busted deck, we'll say. Oh, it's got... Do I have to put it? I see. All right. While we're doing that, we're going to watch some stuff on Epstein and actually the gaming community. Apparently... Ooh, there we go. Now it's going to start getting stupid because when I upgrade this, it's now free. So if I can update my other one, it'll be even stronger. So anyway, we're going to be talking about the Epstein stuff. Epstein and how he apparently infiltrated the gaming industry. I've seen like several different takes on it. Like especially around the Antiwoke guys who are acting like he's the one who started the pedophile cults, or the trying to trans the kids, as they say. But I don't know that I don't know if that's the full story, right? Because I've heard stuff about microtransactions and everything else. So Simon sent me this, or was it Simon? I was sent this video that has how the Epstein helped ruin gaming and engineered, here, we'll pull it up, and engineered the modern online reactionary movement. So let's see how Epstein ruined gaming commentary as a whole. Are they conflating the existence of trans people to that when it's just a guy using his power to do something insane fetish shit? Yeah, I agree. I've seen the emails and stuff like that of them talking about the crazy shit that they wanted to do, and it's not like the pedophile stuff, right? It's not them creating trans people. It's them talking about doing that to their victims to, I don't know, cause to endear their fetish. So let's go ahead and watch this video right here. I'll put it up in the little gaming side. Where did my gamey go? Well, motherfucker, game capture off. Let's turn that back on so y'all can watch me absolutely fucking run this game. Yep, gotta do that one. All right, let's watch.
There are so many bombshell revelations in the latest batch of Epstein files that it's hard to not feel overwhelmed when going over them. And of course, I can't offer you a comprehensive overview of everything that's in them, but we are going to dive into some lesser discussed stories here in a moment. But first, I do want to give you the biggest headline because I think it's important that we not bury the lead. Donald Trump, again, was named in the Epstein files. A lot. In fact, the New York Times reports that his name...
Dude, this has been a thing that's like such a big cope for right-wingers. Is like he's been named, he's in the files, and yet people are still defending this guy like he's some kind of like saint. There's even people like, these are supposedly the guys that are telling us to be conservative in our views and to have like normal everyday values, when none of them have had that shit the entire time. They're literal billionaires he hired. Yeah, the literal billionaire he hired. It's nuts.
As well as Melania's name and Mar-a-Lago were referenced
Pattern
38,000
recognition.
times across 5,300 files. Notably, we learned last year that Epstein told Ghislaine Maxwell in a 2011 email that Trump spent hours alone with the victim at his house. More recently, we found out about a 2016 sworn testimony from an individual who claims that they witnessed Donald Trump threaten to make somebody disappear, just like a 12-year-old unnamed female disappeared. And he also threatened to have this individual's entire family killed if they, quote, ever disclosed any of the physical and sexual abuse of minor females that they witnessed Epstein or his clients commit. Mind you, they made this allegation under penalty of perjury, so that's something to keep.
Real, it is culling who's truly the grifters and who controls Twitter's upper class. Yeah, definitely. You're definitely saying, can y'all hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Why is my mic not working? Okay. It's not picking up on my mixer and okay, but it's working. That's all that matters. Good. Let's keep going.
Keep in mind, there's also a plethora of tips to the FBI about Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, most of which aren't verified, but nonetheless, they accuse him of child sexual abuse and even say that he allegedly drugged and raped a woman. Now, we also learned that Epstein is the one who introduced Trump to Melania in the first place, so needless to say, there's a lot there, and we are barely scratching the surface. Now, when you piece together some of the clues from the Epstein files, it's reasonable to assume, at the very least, that Trump was well aware of Epstein's criminality and chose to keep quiet. But the more likely possibility is that Trump was a client of Epstein himself, who allegedly engaged in child rape. But the connections between him and Epstein are so deep that I don't even think it's a stretch to question whether or not he...
No, here's the thing, like when it comes to Trump and all of that, they're not going to be at Mar-a-Lago. He's going to have, they disappeared because he paid people to disappear. It's just like the mob, which, funny enough, Trump has mob connections, right? All of the real estate stuff he did in New York, he was able to do because of his mob connections and things like that. So, yeah, it's there's not going to be much of a trail to it. Oh, it's one thing, too, to have pattern recognition. It's another thing when you're looking at the files that say this guy's name over and over and over again. But hopefully he's going to get to the gaming stuff here.
He was a co-conspirator who helped Epstein orchestrate the entire ring in the first place. But we don't know for sure, and we may never know the full extent of his possible culpability here. And he's not the only one who's implicated. And we know of certain names, but there are some names that the DOJ is choosing to redact where there is actual evidence that they did something wrong. For example, there's an email where somebody tells Epstein, "Thank you for the fun night. One of your littlest girls was the naughtiest," and they chose to keep that name from us.
It's funny to see our government actively break the law and not listen to the what was said. The only thing, like they said, the only people that can be redacted are the victims. And yet here we are with a name blocked out that is not a victim.
Need to know who wrote that email so they can be investigated, but nobody's been investigated. You know, in other countries, in the UK, Slovenia, and elsewhere, there's consequences, at least minimally. But in the US, people who've been named are just like saying, yeah, you know, I shouldn't have hung out with this guy who's a pedophile. I didn't know any better, but I didn't do anything wrong. I just, you know, I hung around with bad people. But like, that's the extent of it. There's no accountability, no justice, nothing. Now, I just want to go through some of the names because, goddamn, it is baffling the amount of people here just across the political spectrum and throughout the world who have been named in these fucking files. It includes billionaires.
It is absolutely nuts. I was watching Upper Echelon video. We may bring it up when the Smash link comes up, but like the names that go so deep. The guy who like helped prop up JD Vance, who eventually became the vice president, is part of it. Half of Trump's cabinet, if not all of them, have deep connections to Jeffrey Epstein in so many different ways. Now we're hearing that our whole government are traitors that were plants for the Israeli government and other governments, giving information to supposedly Russia and all these other groups. Yeah, UK's government's falling apart due to it now, and as it should. Like, why are we not doing the same thing here in the United States?
There's like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Richard Branson, just to name a few. Former presidents, as you now know, like Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, the former Harvard president who served in both the Clinton and Obama administrations. There's Alan Dershowitz, Howard Lutnick, Trump's current Commerce Secretary. There's people in media like Peter Attia of CBS News, who is a physician. And also, get this, we're learning because of the Epstein files that he ditched his family when his son was in the hospital to hang out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Jesus.
And he talked about how he was addicted
Elon
to Jeffrey
too.
Epstein and needed to get his fix of Jeffrey Epstein. And like all of the other people in these files, they all seem enamored with Jeffrey Epstein, more so than just like trying to get in good with him and blow smoke up his ass, but they were drawn to him in some inexplicable way that is very disturbing in my opinion. But that's not all. There's also once respected left-wing intellectuals like Noam Chomsky who have been named in the Epstein files. Not necessarily because there's evidence of wrongdoing.
See, here's my thing that pisses me off when I'm watching like all these other guys, Smash and all these people, is they're only talking about one side, right? They'll only talk about the left and things like that. But they're not even talking about their side. They don't mind those people being on their side.
But because Chomsky was trying to help Epstein rehabilitate his image. Thanks, Noam. Now there's also sports moguls like Steve Tisch and Josh Harris. There's public officials in the UK like Prince Andrew and the Crown Princess of Norway. And there's also multiple powerful women that met Epstein or at least had dinner with him, including Martha Stewart, Katie Couric, and even Mira Nair, Zoran Mamdani's mother, who's a filmmaker. And to be clear, not every single person who was named is guilty, but it just speaks to how well connected this guy was. He seemingly knew everyone with fame and power, and for some reason, powerful people who were privy to his crimes went out of their way to cover his ass, and it's bizarre. For example, Kathy Rumler, who served as White House counsel for Barack Obama before becoming the CEO of Goldman Sachs, was giving Epstein advice back in 2016 while she was still part of the Obama administration, by the way, about how to respond to possible questions about then candidate Donald Trump having sex with underage girls. And instead of hauling Trump's ass in for questioning when they had power, the Obama administration decided to sit on this information that Epstein was willingly giving them about Donald Trump because they probably knew that Democrats like Bill Clinton, as well as their donors like Reid Hoffman, would also be implicated
Everyone
as well.
has been protecting
powerful people,
themselves.
they all kept their mouths
Everyone.
shut for decades, presumably because they knew that speaking up would lead to their mutually assured destruction. You can't really tattle on Republicans without implicating Democrats as well, and vice versa, so they all kept quiet about the worst crimes imaginable. So we're learning in real time about an actual cabal, pay attention to QAnon, of well-connected elites who either raped children themselves or didn't say anything about the child rape that they knew was happening to protect their own asses in some way, shape, or form, or protect people that they were close to. And every single individual, regardless if they were a Republican, a Democrat, or an independent, needs to be investigated if they were named here and brought to justice if they committed a crime or withheld information about crimes that they knew were happening. And when you step back and really think about all of this, the Epstein files sheds light on the mentality of people in power, the sheer sociopathy of public officials who all defended a live stream genocide in Gaza for the past 2.5 years.
I don't give
we
a
were
fuck
all
about
watching
that. I do not give a fuck about this. Let's get to the names in gaming.
In our homes in horror as Israel slaughtered thousands of children every single day, and we couldn't fathom.
Yeah, the press is deep into it as well. We're seeing how every facet of our government, from our media all the way up to the top, are in a cabal of pedophiles. Now, we're a good ways through the video. I hope he's about to get, there it is, the influencing in gaming.
How politicians around the world could support such atrocities with enthusiasm. But now we know that it's not just because of corruption and influence peddling by the likes of AIPAC and the Israel lobby. It is the result of a widespread disregard for the well-being of children that elites have normalized among their inner circles. It's a genuine sickness that should shake every single person to their core. These people are psychopaths. And, you know, this might sound a little bit conspiratorial, but it does feel like something more sinister is going on that we
What
still
do you mean,
haven't.
like conspiratorial? Are you kidding me? Like there's a cabal of people connected to a powerful, rich sex trafficker and pedophile. Like that's not something I would ever thought would be brought up in my life. Like really?
Uncovered yet. There's evidence that Jeffrey Epstein was a foreign asset, possibly worked for Mossad, who blackmailed powerful people at the behest of the governments that he might have worked for, and that possibly, you know, could include Russia as well, although there's more evidence for Israel, but that still doesn't explain the full extent of his reach. And that's what I really want to hone in on today in this video, because we're well aware of the most odious crimes that he committed, but Jeffrey Epstein was also able to presumably mold entire industries and influence public discourse in profound, world-changing ways. And simply being well-connected and a possible intelligence agent, it still doesn't quite explain how he was able to do all of this. Case in point, as The Gamer reports, Jeffrey Epstein was apparently a huge cheerleader for microtransactions in video games, the very thing that arguably ruined gaming. James Lucas reports, in newly uncovered correspondence between Epstein, futurist Pablo Holman, and former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick, taken from the over 3 million Epstein files that were released on Friday, conversations were had about, quote, indoctrinating kids into an economy through in-game cosmetics. X Prize is a good idea, but key is real-world rewards, Kotick said in an email to Epstein.
And no one will face anything because the masses are busy fighting each other. Well, that's the whole point of all of this other stuff, right? The both sides of our political government have been doing one thing, and that is trying to perpetuate the other side as being evil and demonic and all of these other things. So while we have the craziest thing in history happening right in front of us, everyone's ignoring it. Everyone's defending this stuff on their side. It's nuts.
Learn to read, earn cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items in games. Interestingly, these emails were sent on May 3rd of 2013, mere months after Black Ops 2 launched, the first game in the series to feature microtransactions. Activision tested the waters with personalization packs, extra slot packs, and paid calling cards, the first of which released on April 12th, 2013. Call of Duty Ghosts, which launched later that year, went even further with paid special characters, voiceover packs, skins, camos, and even weapons. It's not hard to draw a line between these conversations with Epstein and industry figures and the sudden boom in microtransactions that occurred around the same time period. But what's most concerning is the apparent interest to normalize aggressive monetization strategies towards younger audiences, as suggested in remarks made by Epstein's associates in the DOJ documents. Since this happened, gaming has become even more hyper-commodified to the point where AAA game studios are nickel and diming customers in every conceivable way. Like, they're
Yeah, the gay Lego thing is fucking... it's such a nothing burger that no one really cares about. All the while, all of this is happening. But I mean, libs of TikTok is just a psyop. They're just... That's all they are. They're paid government news. That's all they are. And not even that. Not even yeah, exactly. They're compromised. So there is no take. These are the guys who went to pick up the Epstein files, that little booklet live, and it had nothing in it, and then they were just like, oh well, you know, whatever. Everything but covering the Epstein files. Yeah, exactly. They were all big touters. All of the people that were on the right were big, even on the left, I would say, were big about, we need to see the files. We need to see the files. You know, we need to catch the pedophiles. And now that the files are coming out, well, you know, it doesn't say Trump was accused, or he was accused, but it doesn't say he was, you know, found guilty of anything. He just, you know, he says he has no connections, even though there's document after document after document of him and people connected to him all having ties with this dude.
Getting creative with how greedy they are. They're not just selling cosmetics these days to gamers. They're charging for access to portions of games, and they're deliberately designing some games to be overly tedious to coerce gamers into buying upgrades that'll accelerate their progression. It's just disgusting. And Epstein didn't single-handedly create this trend, obviously, seeing as how microtransactions already existed long before he hyped them up in that email and after Call of Duty had already implemented them for the first time. But it's not unreasonable to assume that maybe he influenced Bobby Kotick to make them at least a little bit more predatory in the next Call of Duty, seeing as how he was a financier after all.
Okay.
Oh,
I agree. Yeah, he probably had some things and he talked about it, but Bobby Kotick is a fucking gremlin. He would have had no problem doing that on his own, right? I think it's more of a thing that he was so close in, apparently, with him, that he's letting this guy, you know, help him decide what's going to be in there. But Bobby Kotick was already a huge fucking tool and was talking, you know, about doing this microtransactions, regardless of all of the gamers that said they didn't want it.
And he was also encouraged to invest in Activision 5 years later, where he's told by Paul Barrett, sounds like...
Oh, no. I think we should buy some Activision. This is from the TE analyst who gave us the Polish gaming stock. The Call of Duty release is expected to be in late October. Sounds like they have successfully integrated the Battle Royale Fortnite format in the latest COD. I would start with 1 mil.
Like they have successfully integrated the Battle Royale Fortnite format into the latest Call of Duty game. And Bobby
What
Kotick,
did I say? I've always said it, and I guess everybody knew it, that they were just chasing that fucking Fortnite money.
The CEO of Activision at the time, who was talking to Epstein, was also named in the Epstein files hundreds of times, and you might not be too surprised to find out that he was also covering up sexual misconduct at the highest levels of his company for years. So it's no surprise.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, all of these dudes are just evil people all connected with it. And I'm pretty sure Bobby Kotick is not a leftist, right? This dude is a heavy-duty capitalist, and he's going to probably be leaning on the right, right?
That a creep like him would also be drawn to somebody like Jeffrey Epstein, but the plot thickens even further when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and video games, believe it or not, because he also helped to indirectly cultivate the regressive, hyper-reactionary gaming culture that's ubiquitous on the internet these days. And I say this because journalist Ryan Broderick, who's followed the rise of the far-right...
Yo, what's going on, Noah? Looking forward to learning about what this Epstein stuff is. Yeah, so far it looks like Epstein talked a lot with Bobby Kotick about microtransactions in games and was a big pusher for companies pushing forward those. And of course, you know, having connections with Epstein. I think he said he was in the files, didn't he? And of course, we all know that Bobby Kotick has you know, hid sexual misconduct in his company for years and been called out for that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now we're talking about him pushing the culture war agenda stuff into gaming. So I want to see what that's about.
Its infiltration of male-dominated spaces on the internet for years explains how Jeffrey Epstein played a role in radicalizing young men. He writes, based on the documents we have access to, these were twin obsessions for Epstein, manipulating what we see online and finding digital alternatives to traditional finance, i.e. crypto. During the last years of his life, these two ideas would dovetail into one project, building a far-right takeover of Europe with Steve Bannon.
Holy shit. I always knew, like, at some point, but you can't ever, like, say it because you can't necessarily prove it, that, you know, this was, Bannon is actually incredibly close in with Epstein and all of that. A pillar of it all. So, let's keep going.
Bannon first enters the picture when Epstein took an interest in World of Warcraft. Epstein was close with Brock Pierce, cryptocurrency entrepreneur who co-founded the stablecoin Tether. In 2001, Pierce founded Internet Gaming Entertainment, or IGE, a company that tried to build a trading market for in-game currency for video games like WoW. In 2007, Pierce was replaced at IGE by Bannon. And in November of 2016, Epstein's longtime accountant, Richard Kahn, emailed Epstein a Wired article about Bannon's role at IGE. In-game currency especially was a fixation for him. He emailed former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick in May 2013 a long diatribe about using virtual items in in-game currency to co-opt the existing video game industry and replace traditional education. He seemed to think you could
replace traditional education? What do you mean?
Inspire kids to learn better by gamifying it. Now let's pause right there.
Inspire kids to learn better by gamifying it. That's not gamifying it, right?
Because we're circling back to Epstein's successful co-optation of the video game industry, and the timeline here is really important. So prior to his role with Call of Duty's microtransactions, Epstein was already paying individuals to manage his online perception, especially after his 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution of a child. Now, based on the emails that we
Yes, they were trying to subtly replace education with games.
seen, it does seem like Epstein really was obsessed with manipulating online discourse too, as Broderick reported.
I've heard this part, like the online Discord thing, on somewhere else. So let's see if it's the same.
Now, around 2011.
Well, let's be cure gazing, grizzle, blah, blah, blah. Our education system sucks, and it sucks for a reason.
Epstein took particular interest in 4chan, and its creator, Christopher Poole, aka Moot.
Oh no, I didn't hear this part. Oh no.
Shut down its politics board after it became a safe haven for Nazis. So he made the right decision, but then, conspicuously around a year later, he brought it back despite knowing the danger that it posed to the public. Now, Broderick explains, it has never made much sense as to why Poole would ban New for being a racist hellhole, and then barely a year later, launch Poll, which stands for politically incorrect, a board specifically designed to be a racist hellhole. But buried inside the newest batch of files related to the Epstein investigation is a possible hint as to what made Poole change his mind.
Like, some games can have educational elements, but it shouldn't replace outright education altogether. But like you said, the modern education system sucks anyway, so I guess the line is blurring. Yeah, and you know, there's ways that gamification works, right, in helping kids to learn things. Usually when it's through some kind of actual, like, educational game, but they're, you know, making little games for the kids to play while they're doing things. I think that can be okay. And you know, you've got games that can encourage you to go look at history or things like that, or that use history and give history in it. Like, one of the things I used to like about Assassin's Creed was when you could travel to places and they would actually give you, like, historical little tidbit about the area, right? I always liked that feature. It obviously disappeared, but it was, you know, interesting. And there's a good for it, but I don't really see these guys as using it for good, we'll say.
He met with Epstein the day before Poll was created. And that's quite the coincidence, is it not? So Epstein somehow, presumably, got Moot to bring back this Nazi forum for some reason, and would you look at that, it took off. Now, maybe it happened organically, maybe Epstein played a role in making it more popular, we have no idea. But what we do know is what happened after this Nazi forum came back. White supremacist memes from this 4chan board ended up gaining popularity, especially after they trickled down to Reddit and Facebook. Edgy, racist memes and anti-Semitic memes and homophobic and transphobic memes became really...
Okay. I mean, I get it. Yes. There seems to be some connection there. But, you know, those who know me know I'm okay with a few racist memes and things like that. Edginess, from being in the military, edginess is just part of what you do. But yeah, it spiraled into something else where it's no longer edginess. It's just, you know, straight up racism at this point.
Popular, especially in online spaces dominated by young men. Think Pepe the Frog circa 2015 and whatnot. And this board found other ways to galvanize young men by popularizing anti-SJW sentiment, and even launched Gamergate, which was when the floodgates to online reactionary content just like burst open. But other nefarious actors also took Gamergate to the next level by mainstreaming it, and that includes Steve Bannon's website. Broderick continues, in March of 2012, Steve Bannon, following the death of conservative blogger Andrew Breitbart, was installed as the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News.
Yeah, it is
in 2014, 4chan's video game board V and Poll.
It isn't just racism now. Yeah, the edgy joke part went out the window long ago at this point. Yeah, you can't even really be edgy anymore without either looking cringe or being lumped in with these other dudes that just go overboard, right?
Started lighting up about the Gamergate conspiracy theory. Milo Yiannopoulos, then a young tech writer for Breitbart, would transform Gamergate from fringe message board drama into the cornerstone of the global far-right movement.
I'm okay with
by
that. You know, I like
it in
my
articles
R word.
optimized for Facebook traffic, which was perfect timing because Epstein was beginning to work his way into Silicon Valley. And that branches off into an entirely different story where Epstein infiltrated tech circles and got close to Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, and he even offered to help pay for Thiel's lawsuit against Gawker. I believe he encouraged the former prime minister of Israel to get in bed with Palantir.
Well, it wasn't so much that we got check marks. Check marks were already kind of available when Twitter was around, but you actually had to... It was more for verification that you were actually somebody real, where now it's just something you pay for. I pay for mine because I want to get the coverage, and there's definitely a difference in it when you have it. And also, I like to yap, so I like write really long paragraphs. I don't want to have to go into multiple tweets. Edge used to be all about being done well. Tropic Thunder is one of my favorite movies of all time. And it's a satire on Hollywood. We didn't realize how much until later. Like I'm the I find retards account. That dude's dumb. Turned a hard cuss word into a slop. Yeah. Yeah, it means nothing. It's just people get it because they know it will get them more coverage. That's the only reason. Only reason. Let's keep going here.
There's a lot there, but that's a different story for a different day. But to go back to 2011, Epstein helped unleash 4chan's Nazi board on the public. And it was a boon for right-wing operatives like Steve Bannon. So we're starting to kind of see the origins of the modern online far-right movement and how
Jeffrey Epstein created SmashJT. That's what I'm hearing right now. Jeffrey Epstein created SmashJT.
Epstein and Bannon played very crucial roles, but it wasn't until 2017 that Epstein and Bannon would actually meet for the first time once journalist Michael Wolff connected them. Now, the context is important here because you've got Epstein, who is a pedophile who wants to control what we see on the internet, and then you've got Steve Bannon, an architect of the...
So I was watching something on that, like, wants to do control. He actually had, I don't remember if it was Steve Bannon or someone else. He actually had someone go through and work after the first time he was arrested, right? Because all of these people are like, oh, well, I never, dealt with him. When I dealt with him was before we knew he was a pedophile. But yet all of these people are seen in the files talking to him after the first time he was arrested. And the judge who became a member of Trump's cabinet in 2016 let him off easy for it. But after that point, he was helped by powerful people to suppress the bad press of him about being a pedophile. There's a whole document about it.
Modern white supremacist movement who facilitated Trump's rise to power, and they both came together to do some evil. Specifically, they wanted to crush the Me Too movement, which was popping off at the time. Quote, the two men brainstormed how to use cryptocurrency to fund a populist nationalist coalition that could stave off Time's Up, this is Me Too, for the next decade plus. And it seems like both Bannon and Epstein had already independently figured out the perfect place to build that coalition, 4chan. And as we now know, their coalition was indeed very, very successful. And side note, in 2018, after they formed this coalition, Bannon was trying to help Jeffrey Epstein rehabilitate his image. He wanted to crush the
he's
pedo
going to
myth.
talk about it
read this
now,
in the
of course.
emails and talked about how they needed to get people to not view Jeffrey Epstein as a monster,
but it
rather
was
to
her
view him
ghosting his invites.
as a human.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that are in there that are mentioned that actually didn't have anything to do with him, but why is our government not going through there and with a fine-tooth comb? Who is it? The director of the FBI flat out said there's nothing in there that implements anybody, and yet here we see day after day as more people go through these 3 million copies. I also want to mention the 3 million copies have gone down. They're deleting stuff in the copies as we speak while people are going through it.
Bannon was trying to stage the comeback for Jeffrey Epstein. So they were working hand in hand. But to get back to the coalition, that coalition that they built appears to be the catalyst for the universalization of the global fascist movement that still exists today. With Epstein's connections to world leaders and Bannon's internet savvy, they were able to plant the seeds of fascism around the world and watched it grow. Now, Bannon gained a foothold in the UK.
I wish you wouldn't, I get it, yes, they're building a fascist regime or whatever. A dictatorship is definitely what is trying to be built currently. But it's gotten to the point that the word fascism has almost lost all meaning now. It's better to talk about the facts, because this is where this group will stave it off. Well, they're just calling all of us fascists. Well, no, we're calling all these elite pedophiles fascists.
And in Germany, France, and Hungary, and he started advising their fascist politicians and helping their movements grow as well. And in the newly released Epstein files, we do get a glimpse of how Bannon worked with Epstein behind the scenes to foster this global fascist movement that they built together. Broderick writes, in July of 2018, Epstein told Bannon that he was wrestling with how to get a team of hackers for Bannon and wanted to use a zero-day exploit to target crypto wallets and voting booths. And in another email that month, Epstein also alleged that Marine Le Pen's far-right Front National Party was financed by Russia. And over the next 6 months, the men continued to scheme with each other over text. In March of 2019, Rod Larson texted Epstein, trying to lift Shinzo Abe on world stage as key to Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro, Orbán Salvini. And Epstein texted Bannon, now at the pyramid, referring to the Louvre pyramid, with the entire government. What are your plans? So they were very clearly trying to nurture a global fascist movement that is still very much prominent till this day. And the wind under their sails was an online campaign of manipulation, specifically of young men, that emanated from 4chan, as we now know. And as is the case with all things Epstein related, we're barely even scratching the surface because there's so much there. Epstein also invested in technology that helped Russia, whose internet research agency also manipulated people online, mostly at the behest of Donald Trump in the lead up to the 2016 election. But
I don't know how it would work that way, Red Stain. It's absolutely the problem is like when you look at the left, they're doing the same thing with communist, right? Everything left of them is communist. Authoritarian is a more respectable word. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it is clear of what, is trying to be done in the country. Anyone who says otherwise, like right now, they're literally talking about stealing votes or trying to pass the SAVE Act to make the votes in control of the federal government, right? So
We don't know if he had any role with that operation or other foreign operations. Just there's so many fucking questions that it's making my head spin. But we might never know the full extent of the online manipulation that Epstein played a role in, but we can say with certainty that reactionary gaming channels that feed into anti-woke outrage to this day, like the Quartering, Geeks and Gamers, and others, they all owe their success to Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. Anti-wokers were created by Epstein.
Paved the path for them. The 4chanification of right-wing politics is a direct result of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's convenient for the Epstein class that right-wing reactionaries get their audiences to fixate on niche gaming-related culture war issues, since that's a really nice distraction from the ways that the Epstein class is robbing the rest of us blind. In fact, I would take it a step further and say that most right-wing influencers today, not just the gamer ones, arguably owe their entire careers to Jeffrey Epstein, because had he not intervened to get Moot to resurrect the politics board, which drives so much right-wing discourse online, there might have never been a lane for these grifters to exist in the first place. And ironically, these same people who championed the release of the Epstein files are now either downplaying Trump's role in it, or they're just pretending like they don't see all of the headlines that we're all seeing for obvious reasons. You know who I'm talking about, the Alex Joneses and the libs of TikToks of the world who thinks every single LGBT.
It's always crazy to me that someone like Alex Jones was like propped up when the guy is just always batshit insane. Even all of my friends, like I'm considered more far right than a lot of my buddies, and none of my buddies would be considered left, right? More libertarian in their nature with looking to the right, but we did nothing but like make fun of Alex Jones. Like he should have never been someone that anyone listened to on any way, shape, or form.
LGBTQ plus person ever is a groomer, but apparently the president that she supports is totally innocent. So the rabbit hole goes so much deeper than any of us thought, and the more we learn, the more questions we have. But at least we now know for sure why Donald Trump and the Republican Party fought so hard to stop the release of the Epstein files. Our suspicion was right. We were correct to trust our guts. It's because they're all over that shit, all of the elites. And if they're not directly implicated themselves, powerful people that donate to them or otherwise have them by the balls are implicated. So if the DOJ is willing to release all of this, I can't imagine what they're still keeping from us.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. So a fairly good video. He's obviously like a super wokey, but yeah, it's the fact that, one, to me, all of this seems very weak on the things. Like, I think when it comes to the microtransactions, the gaming industry was always already well on their way. Progressive, but in the right space. Yeah, I got you. So the microtransactions would have happened with or without Epstein. I have no doubt about that. Now, as for like him having influence, yeah, I absolutely think so. And it sounds like he had quite a bit of influence in some of this right-wing, culture war shit that has popped up. And I mean, on top of that, with like the rise of Trump and the rise of the like SJW only fueled more power into that. Things like Gamergate and all of that other stuff that happened. While I will always maintain, the true reason that started Gamergate, what it devolved into, you can't really give any headway to, right? You can't really say that it's good or bad or whatever else. Like, I don't miss Massey on some of the stuff, but I am sharing his work over on Airbag server, even while they aren't making any stinks. Gotcha. So I figured what we do is take a look at, oh God, he's using Savvy. Take a look at, our boy here, SmashJT, you know, he's a Republican, as can be, but he's getting attacked hard by Trump. Who is that? Oh, Massey. Yeah, I've seen that too. Well, here's the thing. Anyone who is against Trump, it's not the first Republican that Trump has gone after. He's threatened many officials to, you know, lately. Anyone who turns against him, he threatens them. He talks about they shouldn't be voted into office anymore. He's definitely trying to bully whoever he can if they don't fall in line with him. But anyways, let's see what old SmashJT took out of this article and things that are going on. But and let's see what what his takes are. Whoop, no, that's not me. This
Told you that Epstein was the guy, the patient zero behind starting out the whole trans movement and pushing behind the scenes for that. Madam Savvy on X. A man named Just Ting emailed Jeffrey Epstein. Just
Yeah, but Smash, you wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for Jeffrey Epstein.
Ting thanked him for 50,000 research funding. Mentions he took on surgical director for transgender health. He is one of the guys on trans-related surgeries. This was sent in May 2016. Did you know that in 2016, the first transgender male to female genitalia surgery was completed for Mount Sinai and then became the first place in New York City to offer transgender surgeries? Epstein had a great deal of interest in it and apparently funded research for it. This is long after knowing Epstein was a PDF. This man not
Just
only reached
say it.
out
You
to
have it
him
on
for
screen.
updates, but was given money, and he continues to ask for help to push his work. Recently in New York, a detransitioner was awarded $2 million. The location and people are unrelated, sort of, but I think a wave of lawsuits is coming. $50,000 for research into specifically what?
Whoops.
I don't
whoops.
know, but I think we
Hold
can
on. I
all
clicked
make
the
a
wrong
safe
button.
gamble
I
as to
clicked the
what
wrong
it
button.
was. This is from Just Ting. I hope you are well. I have two things to tell about. One, the research you supported with $50,000 grant has borne fruit.
So let's see here. All right. Christina Johnson, May 30th, 1926. So she's wrong. May 3rd, 1989, was an American actress and singer. Let me bring this up on screen. We'll read it. Reading. Yeah, we had it big. There we go. Christine Johnson, May 30th through 19, was an American actress, singer, and transgender activist. A trans woman, she was the first person to become widely known in the United States for having sex reassignment surgery. In 1944, In 1944, Jorson was drafted into the U.S. Army during World War II. After she served as a military clerical worker, Jorson attended several schools, worked and pursued photographic career. During this time, she learned about sex reassignment surgery, traveled to Europe, where in Copenhagen, Denmark, she obtained special permission to undergo a series of operations beginning in 1951. Upon her return to the United States in the early 50s, her transition was the subject of the New York Daily News. Front page story. She became an instant celebrity, known for her directness and polished wit, and used the platform to advocate for transgender people. It's almost like Savvy doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, because she never does. Thank you, Grizzle, for that. Thank you. Oh, that's just too good. Oh, I'm going to keep that up, actually, because we're going to be tweeting that out. I'm going to go find Savvy, and I'm going to be annoying. All right. Let's keep going here. So now that we know that Savvy's already wrong.
We have submitted a paper for publication summarizing our results. If you would like an outline of the results of research, you can email one to you or present it to you in person. 2, I have been made surgical director of the brand new transgender surgery program at Mount Sinai. So it's all about money and power. First off, these doctors, infinite wealth. It's the same thing as if lawyers can get a new law passed that pushes an agenda, they can sue everyone for that new law and use their status to do it. If a doctor can get approved for a surgery that's a novel surgery that didn't even exist before, that's infinite money for.
But it did exist before in the 50s in Denmark. She maybe could say that it was the first one that happened in the US, but that doesn't, it wasn't something that didn't exist in the West. Like, it existed in the West, in a country you could travel to. You didn't have to go like down to fucking Mexico. You could go to an actual first world country.
Forever. And pushing it towards a direction of an agenda from Jeffrey Epstein that wanted it there is pretty concerning. This is the reunion. While I don't know the entire situation surrounding this email from 2019, I find it very interesting referring to the LGBTQ movement and its, quote, commercialization. Bob Trevors is an evolutionary biologist. I will let you all interpret it for yourself. To Jeffrey Epstein, great talking with you. I certainly agree on the interest side and therefore the commercial side. Far better LGBTQ than honor killing. The latter I will complete in my spare time on behalf of the victims, but have already started work on LGBTQ. A friend told me yesterday that while male homosexuals are 3% male, female trans are 1/10 as frequent. Of course, there is overlap, exactly why all 5 letters should be handled in one piece. He's the guy behind adding the trans and queer to LGB. It comes from Epstein. Holy shit.
Let me re-listen to that because I have to know, is that true? He might be, but I don't think he's talking about the
are 3% male, female trans are 1/10 as frequent. Of course, there is overlap, exactly why all 5 letters should be handled in one piece. He's the guy behind adding the trans and queer to LGB.
Okay. Maybe that's probably true. I can probably agree with that for his fetish reasons, right? But queer? I'm confused about that because queer is just another word for gay, right? Am I just completely off base? I don't know a lot of the gays anymore.
It comes from Epstein. Holy shit. There is also literature on lesbian goals and homosexual behavior, male and female, and other animals. Plus, as I mentioned to you once, well-developed trans species and mammals. The art will be in weaving a bit of the non-human material without boring people who want to hear about us. All the best. Holy shit. Jay Viper, Epstein was big into transing kids and even funded the experimental surgeries. This has always been an illness, and he had a hand in capitulating it to mainstream. Yes, the guy who abused kids was pro-abuse via transitioning. He was sold on it by a dude dangling keys. I think he meant keys, not please. By a dude dangling keys in the front of his face. Stop transing kids.
God, this guy is so fucking soy. Sure, I can give a weight to that idea, right? Because it's very obvious he had a push for it to make it bigger than it was. Now, does that mean that trans people didn't exist? Because they're kind of acting like that doesn't exist. Yes, they've always existed. He paid for surgeries and things like that. And the reason I think he paid for it is because he wanted to do it to his victims and for his own fetish reasons. That does not fucking downgrade the entire movement of trans people and things like that are going on there. I don't agree with it in a lot of ways. I don't agree with the whole side where it comes to kids under the age of 18. I never will. That's just me on it. I think you should at least wait until you're, 18 years old and things like that. So pretending that this is, well, it's not even pretending. It looks like he specifically sneaks under it. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting for. Yeah, Jay Viper is a great source, which all Jay Viper did was print the same thing that Savvy did. Let's keep going.
Very simple. I will compare male to female and female to male. I'm not going to read all this, but holy crap. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money.
Smash. It is very simple. I will compare male to female with female to male. With a great molecular control over development, we are inherently capable of producing novel phenome types, more feminine men by blocking testosterone receptors or castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one box male features, the second encourages female features. More masculine women, heavy testosterone dosages, incredible external effects, heavily bearded men. You will never guess they had a female bone in their body. First kind, male. Female is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The first is attractive. He is a woman with a cock. So what if your fantasy is sucking a man's dick? Otherwise, you are completely heterosexual. It would be much nicer if the rest of the organism is female. Then you get the best of both worlds. This is insane fucking fetish shit. This is him talking about turning his victims into whatever playthings he wants, fucking genetically. He wasn't pulling people he was pulling some from the United States, but he isn't doing this because he wants like the trans movement for trans people to have their free rights. He wants to use chemicals to abuse people so he can create better children for his pedo cult. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, which in turn they assert promotes their prostitution since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week. But they are sexually happy. Once you have researched manhood, even castration does not prevent the sensation of orgasm. Jesus fucking Christ. I want to know how much he's going to read of this. If they like smelly masculine man, you want that hard cock. Oh, God. That comes with the show. You do not want one. Nature's more complex and variable structures and poom poom. That is the acquired taste and not with a man. Yeah, this is him clearly, it's pretty nasty work. This is clearly him talking about setting up new types of victims for his cult, right?
Which in turn, they assert promotes their prostitution since they have to pay hefty fees for injections every week. Holy shit. This is insane. Basile the Great. Jeffrey Epstein supported transing children. Something else he has in common.
He supported fucking children too. Yeah, of course he did. You just read the fetish email that he has about it.
With the current UK government.
Yeah, he's seeing that movement and got very interested. That is correct. Sure. I can agree with that.
It's all coming to a head right now. Sick. Epstein spoke with renowned scientists about benefits of turning children trans. This is insane. And what Savvy was talking about earlier, detransitioner wins 2 million.
See, this is the what is it called? Pattern recognition that's failing them. Like, he's not looking into this with any objection except for going after the left and going after his enemies. Smash, this is like on the bottom of the totem pole here in New York. Police need to be stopped. Detransition wins $2 million against New York docs who pushed double mastectomy.
$1 million lawsuit
Okay.
against New York doctors who pushed double mastectomy.
Is he going to read that article?
This is just the first, by the way. There's a whole lot more coming down the pipe right now, which, by the way, I and many other people called years ago when this is all going to come to a head and people would find out about it. Kangman Lee, once you take
Oh God, Kangman Lee. Yeah, all the retards are talking about it. How many times are y'all going to talk about Trump's allegations in the Epstein files or all of the other right-wing guys that are in there, right? You want to talk about only the left-wing stuff because you're a little bitch who can't realize that our entire system of government needs to be taken down.
away monetary incentives for a lot of doctors and companies to push transgenderism onto children, much of the propaganda will cease. This is good. Keep pushing. You know what's interesting, though, that just came out recently? Fly Red. The rumors were true. Welcome Lydia Fox, Fly Red, home of FlyQuest Red, supporting and showcasing women and gender expansive folks in gaming.
What does
They
this have to
added
do with
Lydia Fox
anything?
to an all-girls team. Lydia Fox is a dude. This is a mentally ill dude. Let's listen to him and see what he has to say about being added to this all-girls team.
Hi, I'm Fox.
Not even try to hide the voice.
I'm the new opera for FlyQuest Red.
Oh, finds the first, finds the second. Oh,
I don't.
So is his physical appearance or her physical appearance somehow like beating? Like I will get into the arguments on saying when it comes to like physical sports, right? Things like that. Yes, there is something that needs to be looked at on advantages of people and the difference between transing and things like that. There is a there's an argument for that, but gaming, really?
I don't know if anyone's gonna tell him, but just being a dude and growing your hair out long does not make you a girl. I hate to break it to him, but this is a mental illness, and it needs to stop being supported by society at large. Because I would argue it is a net negative on their mentality by reinforcing this kind of stuff. It's actually terrible for them.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of FlyQuest Red since before I even joined Impact. I played against CLG Red in like a league match. This was years ago, obviously. But they've always been like the ones that you look at like, hey, this is the top of North America. It's like the dream to strive for if you're playing in the female scene. I think I had the
So there you go, the female scene, all actual girls there, as far as I can tell.
same dream as everybody. Like, oh man, one day I wish I could be on FlyQuest.
Tell. So if one of them was trans, you wouldn't know.
And here we are. There's a lot I want to learn still about Counter-Strike.
Yeah, it is. It's just some random trans girl always catching strays. Like, I do not care about this. Like, most trans people, like, you've got some of them that are out there that are trying to stir stuff up. Most just want to live their fucking lives and do things going on there. I'm sorry, I don't really care about this video game and them doing it. Like, maybe there's an argument here, but you're not making any argument for why. You're just like, that's a dude playing a game. Like, come on, bud.
By the way, if you define yourself by your gender when you're playing a video game, I'd argue that's where your problem starts.
But you're defying their gender by them playing a game. Like, what are we talking about? You're literally upset at this person for playing a game because of their gender. Whether you agree with it or not, that's what's making you mad about this. One of my friends is one, and she is watching me play Hogwarts Legacy the other day. Nice.
If you're playing the video game, just play the fucking video game. Why does your gender matter? Where is that even coming?
I agree, Smash. So why are you watching this video when you've just been done talking about pedophiles and Epstein? Why don't we go into more of the pedophiles that are around Epstein? No, You're fucking throwing shit at this random trans.
From
Don't know everything. Shake is an amazing coach, and I'm sure I'll learn a lot from him. I'll probably be trying to improve my own game while keeping what I do still good. But I want to take my gameplay to the next level. I don't just want to be top 10. I want to be like the best. I want to be the one that people are like, holy shit, she's insane.
she.
Hype moments.
So what can you tell me about that situation, Smash? What about her being a man is giving her some kind of advantage in the game, right? What is it about the man? Is it she's got quicker reacts? Is it something like that? They are not talking about gender much. I want to be the gamer. Yeah, and like, what does her team feel about it? Like, what is the side of it? If everyone's okay with it, but Smash, he's the guy I guess they forgot to ask.
It's an aura, you know? Shout out to Ink, first of all. He's been my coach for the last 3 years throughout.
I can't keep watching this. This is hard to watch. Holy. But Fly Red
It's
turned
because you're just sitting there watching it and you have nothing to say.
off the replies. Do not look at his hard drive. This is a dude in a women's team. Bro, I thought people were memeing about America, but you really are this delusional in the US. Wild. Again, all stemming from Epstein, enabling this into not just society at large, but gaming specifically.
Epstein created SmashJT. I want everyone to remember that. Epstein created SmashJT. So if he's going with Epstein created all of the trans movement and they never existed before until Epstein came around, Epstein created SmashJT.
Isn't this a female team? What the fuck is that? This is a dude or a girl? What the fuck? And after they started getting those comments, they went immediately turned comments off. And we'll
Yeah.
leave it at this one. Because this is a society that was created by Epstein. Get your kids out of public schools. They always preach the kindness. This is a way to.
Here's the thing too, like I'm not seeing, like you have seen situations where either individual teachers or some small district comes up with something that they want to do that's, you know, batshit crazy, and then it blows up all over the place. Anti-gamers, yeah. But where is this wider movement of trans ideology in schools? I've yet to see any of it. Just people say it, but where is it, right? And I need more than just the one small school that did it and it got knocked back, right? People fought against it because it didn't need to be in schools, right? You can argue like places you get your children out of school so they grow up without knowing the civil rights movement. Yeah, that's exactly why. So you can put them in long skirts and tell them that they probably shouldn't vote. They're not thinking about how they currently have power and that the anti-trans laws are being passed every other day, right? Exactly. The government's the one in power, but they're still pretending like this is somehow a thing, that this is somehow like coming down the pipeline, that all of this stuff is going through. I would like to read that actual article and actually see what it says about this lawsuit, because I wonder if it's even a federal lawsuit or if it's like someone who had a bad experience who felt like they got pushed into it. Without public schools, I wouldn't have met my friends. True. I don't talk to any of those people anymore, but yeah.
to get to the kids early. They don't know any better.
Choose kindness! Choose kindness! Choose kindness! Choose kindness!
So they're already prepping them with the rain.
Is he fucking serious? You're fucking serious, right? You're fucking telling me that a kid, like where? So you're telling me that a kid drawing a rainbow on their fucking little little block, their little piece of cardboard, is getting them used to the gaze. You realize that like rainbows and kids go hand in hand. That's like something kids love drawing. Jesus Christ, this guy's dumb.
Choose kindness.
So they're already prepping them with the rainbows, the marching, the protesting, the anger at society.
Where was the anger in that when they're talking about kindness? Yes, you should be aware of your First Amendment right to be able to protest peacefully, right? High school needs to have civics class. Plus, yeah, protesting should be taught as a right to do when stuff on the public don't like happens. Yeah, it's absolutely part of it. The blame game won't solve the real issue. What's the real issue, Egad? Good to see you in chat. The real issue is everyone is vulnerable. I agree. They always talk about like the kids are the ones that are malleable. But I mean, look at the political climate right now where everyone has been absolutely fucking brain dumped with propaganda from their side and won't even look into the actual stuff, right? Yeah, you're seeing, adults being 12-year-olds.
These are fucking preschoolers, man. What are you doing? Let them be kids.
Teaching them their First Amendment right. Teaching them their First Amendment right at a young age so that it's solidified, so that when these motherfucking government people or these fucking government cucks like Smash come around, they know that they have the right. Yeah, they seem like they're having a great time.
Choose kindness.
Kindness, justice, peace for all. These kids don't give a shit about that. Let them play with their blocks.
Let them play with their blocks? Dude, those kids are what, like 4th grade? You get it. You get a little bit more into it when you like are in 4th grade, 5th grade, things like that. Maybe they're 3rd graders. They're not playing with blocks. They are learning things. Kindness is one of those things. Peace is something that's always been taught in schools, right? Grown adults are vulnerable and influenced. Were vulnerable and influenced children. Yeah, I agree. Children are the most vulnerable. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. Children are the most vulnerable. And that's going to happen. Like, you usually are going to have some kind of connection, at least politically, until you if you ever really start rebelling from your parents, right? I was raised very conservative, and I'm still have a lot of very conservative beliefs. So yeah, you're built up by the world around you. I agree. Though I don't know that kids are the most vulnerable. I think people who are dumb, like SmashJT, are probably the most vulnerable of them all.
Blocks. Let them be kids. What is this? You're stealing their childhood away.
You're stealing their childhood away by making them, by having them make signs and go out and march around. Like, are we kidding? I wish I was able to do this stuff when I was in the 4th grade. I mean, yeah, I wish I would have known more about my civil rights when I was in the 4th grade. I always have an inkling that WoW and other games were pushing loot boxes and gotcha too far. The Blizzard Activision merger is when WoW really started going downhill for me. Yeah, I agree. If you want to look back on the other stuff, like Bobby Kotick, we can talk about Epstein and Bobby Kotick talking about microtransactions, but Bobby has been thinking about microtransactions for a long time, right? Everybody's been seeing that money coming in from the East with all the the phone apps and the gotcha games and all of that other stuff. So yeah, it was bound to be something that they wanted. So also, thank you for coming by, Snake. I appreciate it. We're gonna do a little shill. We're gonna do a little shill, guys. Do a little shill. So I want to thank everybody for coming. We got 16 people in the chat. If you haven't liked the stream yet, by all means, go down there and like it. It helps me out. I don't even care if you're a lurker. You don't have to say anything in chat, but just go down, give me a little like. It's the easiest and freest thing you can do. if you're enjoying the content that we have today, I stream loosely Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Just give me a subscribe and hit that bell, and enjoy the show. Anyways, we're going to go back to gaming as this guy talks about it. I find it funny how Smash hates this, but's going to cheer kids LARPing as ice on Roblox. Did he actually cheer it? I didn't know that. That's insane. That's the same kind of propaganda, but on the other stuff. The stuff I talked about concerning E33 and soft power is everywhere. People are outright admitting they're just using the medium to influence or coerce people into becoming good consumers. Yeah, I mean that's what. Look at what. Hey, welcome, Noxalent. We'll just call you Nox. You can see it, like, even with the Nvidia thing where they just dropped all of their chip production and RAM. It's a big push. Like, all of the rich fucking CEOs are all for it because they're like, oh, well, you're not going to be able to afford a computer anymore. You can always rent it from us. We'll let you rent the computer. It's all about, like, the whole idea that people have gone with of you'll own nothing and like it. It's not a left-wing idea. It isn't something that the World Economic Forum is only doing. All corporate groups want this to happen, right? They want it to be that way so that they can own everything and you own absolutely nothing. Epstein for Smash 6. Yeah, Epstein is our Smash. I've come under the conclusion after reading it that SmashJT wouldn't exist without Epstein. So Epstein created SmashJT.
This is so bad. Like, they need to not like jail the teacher, but there needs to be like some sort of repercussions in society for teachers that do this kind of stuff. I don't know what.
That teach our rights.
But I'd start with firing them immediately because this cannot.
So we'll teach anyone who teaches our kids about their First Amendment right should be fired, right? That's what we're saying. Fill me in on what I'm looking at. So SmashJT just got done talking about the Epstein pushing trans movement. And yeah, I'll give you a little lowdown. In his idea is that Epstein is the focal point for all trans. We already proved that wrong. One of the first trans women is back in the 50s, and she went to, where do we say, Denmark to get it. So now he's watching kids doing a little kiddie protest where they're talking about be kind, which is teaching him their First Amendment right. And he's complaining that this is transing the kids.
Happen. This is not like a slap on the wrist because these teachers are going to try to get to the kids a different way because they are indoctrinated. They are lost souls. They already fell for the Epstein shit. So now they're trying to pass it on to the next generation.
Jail the teacher. He is not a communist, right?
We support immigrants.
I hate the US.
Shit, I support immigrants too. The legal kind? Yeah. What? You don't need a sign for that. What is this? Just help vote? Kids holding voting signs?
Are you fucking serious? You don't get it, that woke man, we need to hate it. Okay, out of all of these, he brought up just help vote. Are you seriously saying that we shouldn't teach our kids about voting?
What the hell?
Yeah, I remember the Bill of Rights cartoon as a kid, I'm a bill. Oh man, teaching us about how the government works. The problem is most people don't even understand the basics of how the government works. They haven't been taught anymore anything about it.
We keep us safe. It's so sad. This is so sad. Owl Hootie Hoot says, no Smash. I'm a teacher and I would jail them. This is against our code of ethics. I think it.
Sounds like trans propaganda. If you say so, bud.
Depends. The degree is revoked and banned from teaching. I think it depends on here's the craziest part. What state you're in. Because some states are extremely
Yeah,
left.
You want to not be killed.
Like if you're
What we got here? What'd you say? You dim-witted
craziest
retard?
part. What state you're in. Because some states are extremely left. Like if you're just like in the middle, you're a right-wing extremist in those states. And it's really
I'm sorry, if you're in the middle, you're a left-wing extremist in other states. So you can have a good take like, hey, we should know our First Amendment right. And then someone will call you a communist for it.
unfortunate because the kids, they can't choose. They can't decide. They're being forced into this propaganda war as a kid. And as a dad of 2 young kids, it breaks my heart. Like it genuinely does.
No, it
'Cause
doesn't. You don't give 2 shits about any of this, bud. Did Smash flunk out of elementary school? Oh, man, this is fucking dumb. I got to clip out this portion where he's talking about the kids, and then I need to find a clip of the Bill of Rights video, right? And put those side by side and fucking at him.
I know it's important to raise your kids the right way to have them have a childhood and also be open, understanding, and learn for themselves, be able to make decisions on their own. It's very important, and that's a very fragile process. And this kind of stuff is like taking a hammer to a window. It breaks my heart. It really does. And again, it all goes back to Epstein, adding the trans to the LG.
Dude, like, school failed this guy. Though I don't know that there's anybody out there that could actually teach this guy to not be a fucking absolute retard. Oh, I mean, the thing is he sees rainbow. He saw a fucking rainbow and decided, oh, yeah, that's LGBTQ. Since when? Yes, they like their rainbow colors. Kids love rainbows. My son has drawn rainbows. My daughters have drawn rainbows. Every kid I know has drawn a rainbow at some point in their life. But of course, I'm not sure that there's even any schooling in it. I could be completely wrong, and the class that they're teaching is something off base. If it's about hating the government, I'm sorry. I'm okay with that. You should always not hate your government. You should always disbelieve your government as much as possible so that you don't fall into that propaganda wheel that is the current political climate we have.
LGB. I would argue a lot of people in the LGB community want nothing to do with the trans. Many of them want to.
Hey, Grizzle, is that true? You're my connection to all of the LGBT. I mean, there are some people who don't like some of the far left progressive stuff, or like that one chick who goes to Disney with a hot dog. And things like that. Sure, yeah, there's people who are against it, but just like the gays, just like straight people, just like everyone else, you just want to be left alone to do your own thing. We love generalization, right? Everybody, every single gay hates the trans movement, right? Oh, buddy.
Just make a hard separation from that, because you could argue that there's a case to be made for people could be welcome to be gay, do whatever you want, whatever you do behind the bedroom,
but not be trans. You be gay, you can't be trans.
door, it's fine. The problem comes in is when you start inviting the trans stuff, then it starts going down the road of let's indoctrinate the next generation.
You know, this is very familiar to like the gay movement coming up and things like that. How they, you know, it's being done to the kids where, you know, we're normalizing gays. Words were used differently, but what he's saying is pretty much the exact thing that was happening back then, right? It's not normal until it is. Playing Lawn Mowing Simulator and using this as a pseudo podcast to listen to while working in the new level of unplugged for me. I'm glad that you're doing that, bud. Always happy to have you here, Damaged.
Let's try to get more of these kids to go down and be accepting of this, and then let's try to get them to do what we did. It's a very, very scary path to go. And it's funny how it all started with Epstein. Everything.
SmashJT is an Epstein plant, as is the rest of the culture war movement on the right.
Goes back to Epstein. It's like Alex Jones tinfoil hat territory, but he's right. It literally all goes.
Jesus Christ, this man.
Back to Epstein every time. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's
But I'll
like
leave that there.
he's not smart enough to realize what he's saying in this, right? He just is so utterly
Okay,
dumb
everyone.
that it
It's about
doesn't
time
make
we talked
sense.
about High Guard.
No, we're not talking about High Guard right now. I know it's up or down if it's actually going to go somewhere. The ghost of Epstein is whispering on Smash's ear, "Good goy." That's fucking beautiful. That's beautiful, Kimoji. There was another video. Let's see here. But I think I actually want to watch this one. This is Epstein is why Square Enix went woke. Maybe we'll watch this at a later date. But I wanted to watch. No, actually, we may have time to do both. We'll have time to do both. Let's go ahead and watch this one, and then our next video will be on right-wing anti-wokers and things like that.
I was very confused as to how Square Enix went from Final Fantasy VII to whatever the hell this is, Square Enix Pride. And this is up on their website right now. Meet the team. We celebrate Pride with the LGBTQ plus members of Square Enix team. Meet Minju, Michael, Izzy, Jamie, Chris, and Anthony. Where did this come from and why is it a thing? I covered this multiple times.
Because people and companies do this. It's part of their community stuff, right? It's not that big a deal for them to do some gay pride thing on the gay pride day, right? You might say it's probably if they did like a Black History Month thing, maybe. I guess it depends on how it's done. But this is no different to me than also doing a like 4th of July thing or something like that. Also, I'm still talked about the kids drawing rainbow thing. And I'm multitasking. It's all right, Knox. You're a little further back. It's okay.
In the past, how much this is being shoved in people's faces, pronouns, she, they. Tell us about why you're crazy. Do you think LGBT is important in the community? No! It's about video games. No one gives a crap. So now we have an answer. Would you believe it if I told you it comes back to Jeffrey Epstein?
Is he saying, no, it doesn't matter? Yeah, it doesn't matter. And in fact, it doesn't matter that they're doing it.
It's about video games. No one gives a crap. So now
You seem to care that they're talking about gays in the video game.
we have an answer. Would you believe it if I
Who is this reunion person that I see coming up? This is not someone that I've seen before, the reunion. But it seems to be someone he's citing a lot. Epstein founded trans people. That's right. He created it. He invented it.
told you it comes back to Jeffrey Epstein? September 2018. Square Enix COO Mike Sherlock unexpectedly passes away.
Or whatever.
September 2018. Activision Blizzard's John Henke immediately takes the CMO position as an outside hire. Epstein was so close with Bobby Kotick, and then Activision shows up at Square Enix. All allegedly, of course.
What? What the fuck is that retardation that I just read? 2018 Square Enix Mike Sherlock unexpectedly passes away. So they're saying Mike Sherlock, the COO of Square Enix, was murdered by Jeffrey Epstein. September 18th, Activision Blizzard's John Henke immediately takes the CMO position as an outside hire. Epstein was so close to Bobby Kotick, and then Activision shows up at SE. All allegedly, of course. Jesus fucking Christ. I hope these screenshots actually prove something, because that is absolutely crazy. I don't know exactly what Epstein did exactly. He's just the most prolific pedophile that has ever existed. And he's in control. He was in control and brushed arms with some of the most powerful people in the world, including Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Bill Clinton. Most of Trump's board has some deep connections to him. The guy who raised J.D. Vance up to be able to be out there as well. But his big thing was trafficking tons of kids. That's what he went to jail for, and then quote unquote hung himself for. Yeah, Jeffrey Epstein is probably the worst person that's ever existed. He must have been hella strong. Now he's just hella rich. Lucius, just enjoy the ride. Don't try to understand the engineering behind it. This is the stuff you gotta love and enjoy. Jeffrey Epstein. Listen. Go a little bit further back in the video. You can see how Jeffrey Epstein created the anti-woke movement. Thus, SmashJT is a creation of Jeffrey Epstein. That's all I'm going to say.
Position as an outside hire. Epstein was so close with Bobby Kotick, and then Activision shows up at Square Enix. All allegedly, of course. So you start connecting the dots of the dates of when Square Enix mourns the loss of Mike Sherlock, Chief Operating Officer for America and Europe in 2018. Chief Marketing Officer in 2018, John Henke. And this...
God, the schizo boards. You just can't fucking get away from the schizo board. So their whole thing is literally Bobby Kotick had connections with Jeffrey Epstein. This is true. We don't know how far they go. At least I haven't seen anything that shows how far they went with Bobby Kotick. I don't know if I've seen anything that said he went to the island. What don't you know, by the way, Knox? That Bobby Kotick somehow told this CEO, or Bobby Kotick and Epstein conspired to kill the COO of Square Enix so that one of Bobby's boys could become the CMO to push gay and trans agenda. Is that what I'm getting here? Is this what we're going with?
Immediately following in the years coming after that.
Immediately following or in the years coming after that?
MENA drawing contest for LGBTQ+, Pride.
Okay, these two things were, what, last year? Last year. I'm pretty sure this was last year. This I don't know about. I don't know what the fuck the cat dude is on there for. And this. 2018 is when they said the guy became the CMO, right? That's not immediately. All I'm getting is that bro had hobbies. You're not wrong, Knox. You're not wrong.
The religious concepts, the censorship, the pride parades, the pride flags, Pride Month being celebrated at Square Enix.
I'm pretty sure all of this is within the last couple years too.
Through and through across the board. And we have this leaked message to Jeffrey Epstein. If we can corral Woody and Dick for 22, 23, 22nd works for David Brenner. If we got to go without him, so be it. Not easy getting all these guys together. Have a call into Robin's manager.
Does anyone look at the date? Wednesday, the 26th of December, 2012. If we can corral Woody and Dick for 2022, 2023, 22nd works of David Brenner, but if we got to go without him, so be it. Not easy getting all these guys together. Having a call into Robin's merger manager. I will ask friends. Bobby Kotick from Activision, for example. Is this the guy that became the CMO? Let's go back. Because
22nd works for David Brenner. If we got to go without him, so be it. Not easy getting all these guys together. Have a call into Robin. Activision shows up at Square Enix. All allegedly, of course.
John.
So you start connecting the dots of the date. If we can corral Woody and Dick for 22, 23, 22nd works for David Brenner. If we got to go without him.
So we don't know who this is from. Right? It was sent to Jeffrey Epstein. I will ask friends. Bobby Kotick from Activision, for example. Like, what the fuck is he on about? He's just making shit up at this point to try and connect dots.
So be it. Not easy getting all these guys together. Have a call into Robin's manager. September 26, 2012, Jeffrey Epstein wrote, I will ask friends. Bobby Kotick from Activision, for example. A friend. Bobby Kotick, a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And then you start diving into the history.
Yes. As we've gone over and over again, a ton of these people, including people that you worship, were friends with Jeffrey Epstein. All of them need to be on trial yesterday, years ago, in fact.
Of this relationship. And oh, the tangled webs we weave and how small the world of gaming really is.
Additionally, emails also reveal Jeffrey Epstein's advisors were talking to former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick. Smash is going to bump his toe and somehow link it to Epstein. You're not wrong.
Connections behind the scenes. Charlie Intel. Additional emails also reveal Jeffrey Epstein's advisors were talking to former Activision CEO Bobby Kotick about microtransactions and Call of Duty back in 2013. I'm all for indoctrinating kids into an economy. You gotta love.
He can't even read the Epstein files right. You hear that tone, right? He heard the word indoctrinating and he didn't even read the rest of the sentence.
How his example for real world rewards is virtual items in games. Bobby Kotick, X Prize is a good idea, but key is real world rewards. Learn to read. Cell phone minutes, iPhone credits, virtual items in games. Where does this all lead to?
I don't know why he cut out all that. Yeah, that's them talking about microtransactions. What does that have to do with the gay agenda?
My God. Call of Duty Mobile. You don't like free CP? This tweet has been deleted. PirateNation.x.
Yeah, because they're probably not talking about, they're probably like Call of Duty points or something like that, where they absolutely fucked up. Come on. Do you see why I say pattern recognition fails these guys? Like they just put random shit together and they're like, look, it connects, it's all a conspiracy. But it's not. It's not what they say it is. There's a huge conspiracy when it comes to the Epstein files, but this guy is trying to say that the gayness in a company is somehow created by Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein advisors helped push microtransactions in Call of Duty. I'm all for indoctrinating kids into this economy. George Tor.
Jesus Christ. The people they use. Yeah. Do you see what they're doing? Like, they have no sense of what they're talking about. Clearly, what they're talking about is microtransactions and how they can make more money.
The Epstein emails involving Activision's Bobby Kotick go beyond disgusting. We can't let degenerate elites dictate gaming. Either
I
we
agree.
create a market of our own games, or our hobby will be forever destroyed by corruption, greed, and progressivism. Dragon Board. Well, shit, no wonder. Halo, July is.
It's just like a slideshow of retards over and over and over.
Disability Pride Month. This is, again, Microsoft, Bill Gates in bed, figuratively, I'd like to think.
Disabilities are woke now. Thank you.
With Jeffrey Epstein, not literally. Happy Pride Month from Halo. At this point, who even knows behind the scenes with all these things coming out? And it all goes back to behind the scenes connections with Activision, former board members going over to Square Enix, and then turning Square Enix into this shortly after that happened. No,
in what, 2018? So it took them fucking 6 to 8 years to start doing this. Get out of here. Oh, Noir. Not this fucking retard.
This is crazy. That MFR was literally behind the decline of gaming. He was.
Yes, I agree. Because you're here.
Was the one pushing all the shit I hate. His influence in gaming is what I've been fighting all this time. The reunion. Epstein Files shows interest in the video game industry, including sharing stock information from Ubisoft, Square Enix, Nintendo, and Tencent. This email was from 2015. Don't you think that?
Yes, he was very interested. You know why Jeffrey Epstein was probably very interested in the gaming industry? It is a huge fucking moneymaker. You know why he wanted to probably push for microtransactions and stuff like that? Because he saw how much money the Chinese market was making off of microtransactions, right? That's a thing that all of the gaming industry has been trying to get in for forever. And if he's trying to buy stock in these gaming things, he is wanting them to succeed. And since he has so much power and pressure and things like that he can give, all money and things like that, he's cozying up to all these people and having him come in. Now, instead of all this shit, why don't we see what we can find on Bobby Kotick in the Epstein files to see how close he was to him? I am way more concerned about Bobby Kotick sleeping with little children on the on the island than I am about this made up bullshit. I thought he just liked games. No, Smash doesn't like games. He likes protecting pedophiles in his government. That's what Smash likes doing. That's his hobby.
The culture of these companies changed rather drastically since 2015. I mean, for the longest time, everyone was saying this is BlackRock and Vanguard, which, again, who knows what the connections with Epstein and them is behind the scenes. But it still didn't paint the full picture of what was actually happening. And now we see Epstein being involved right around the same time that all the LGBTQ stuff started indoctrinating gaming, where it was all coming from. And you got to ask the question, like, did he have something to do with it? The reunion. Activision Blizzard employees began to slowly filter into higher positions at Square Enix in 2016, and then full force after John Heineke took office, and the culture of Square Enix.
6 people is full force? Oh, you're talking about Epstein? I thought he just liked games. Well, what else is he gonna play with while he's sitting next to a kid? Hold on, I gotta. Ooh, snap. Cool. I mean, when he's got a lot of kids coming on and off the island, he probably does want to seem cool and hip. I agree. What was this guy saying? All right, let's see here. Let's see how Square Enix, as of today, has 4,600 individuals globally that work on its games and entertainment projects. On screen, they're showing 6 people. Got a high amount of Activision people in there, don't you? I hope he shows something to prove me wrong here.
Began to change rapidly. Oh, would you look at that? Square Enix, Activision, Blizzard, Activision, THQ, Activision, THQ.
Okay, he does realize that people in the industry jump around companies a lot, right? There's this whole thing when you're working, when you actually work for a living, that you come to find out is you have a better chance of getting a raise if you leave the company you're with and move to another company, right? They'll probably get a raise. So why would you wait in your company for the person above you to die, hope you get a job and not get as much money when you can just move to a different company? How all these people seem to have like multiple companies that they're a part of, and all they can find is apparently 5. Smash has to tiptoe around Epstein to not sound anti-Semitic. He should just go full on anti-Semitic. It's the Jews' fault too. Let's go.
Activision, Blizzard. Weird. So what you're telling me is when you
weird that like 1% of the people that are in the company are from other companies that that have been with Activision.
put a person up top that's already an indoctrinated person that's following the rules of what someone else wants them to do, they bring in like-minded people that they know from other companies that will follow out and push the agenda that they want. Is this what destroyed Square Enix? This is the email from 2015. Consumer discretionary.
Okay. I gotta look. Activision Blizzard isn't even like the headline. No, I'm not muted. I'm breathing hard because this is absolutely fucking retarded. Like you can tell this guy has no idea of the history of gaming, how microtransactions grew up in games. He's just, Epstein file says this, I'm going to connect it to this. My dumbass friend on Twitter said this. 5 people equals the entire company is being flooded with people. But like, we're talking about what? Activision Blizzard are owned by Microsoft, right? They've never been owned by another company. EA was one of the biggest pushers of microtransactions and everything else that's come in there. EA pushes that shit too in their games. But somehow this is all coming from just Jeffrey Epstein and not the gaming industry as a whole. Microtransactions are what ruined gaming. That's the truth of it. That's what it is.
Proposed investing in Ubisoft, Square Enix, Nintendo, Nvidia, and Tencent. Let me move myself out the bottom there. Look at that. Holy crap. You wonder.
What did you say here?
Pirate Nation, Epstein files include a 2015 email that shows Jeffrey Epstein's interest in video game stocks. The mailman multiple gaming companies. Epstein was Madam Savvy. More Epstein file interests. In this one, Joy is messaging Epstein about showing CEOs of Sony and DNA. DNA makes Pokemon Masters, along with tons of other apps. They're the Nintendo's branch for the phone apps. And they actually work in other fields too, not just gaming. We looked it up on stream once. Epstein had his investor go to E3. Epstein was invested in game companies like Nintendo and watched them. Epstein writes to very eccentric man about augmented reality about Pokemon Go. The last image I thought was a little funny, showing a 3-way connection, and I believe Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, cool. Jeff found something else to talk about. that he has no knowledge of. Yeah, it's just none of the people he's shown have any fucking idea what they're talking about. Like it's oh no, an investor of Jeffrey Epstein went to E3 when Jeffrey Epstein was looking to invest in E3. They're acting like this guy just walked around and told everybody what to fucking do, right? You're going to trans the kids. You're going to put all this gay stuff in games. You're going to put microtransactions in it. Like, dude, you're not even like talking about the worst of Epstein. You're talking about like the nothing of Epstein in here, and you're just making shit up.
Epstein is lambasting and Amanda for bad trades. In another email,
yeah, you're right.
Amanda is pushing some investor info about Nintendo. So it was just funny to see this here. Again, was Jeffrey Epstein part of the Gamergate saga? It seems like...
Yeah, it seems like it. On your side. Oh.
Like, you would be able to connect the dots theoretically and put him at the center of all of this, which isn't that crazy to think, especially when conspiracy theories continue to come through and be...
What conspiracy theories have actually come true besides our entire government and corporate elite are pedophiles? Like, what other ones have actually come out that I can think of? I mean, there was stuff about, like, you know, all these different stuff that the CIA did to us. But, like, what gaming conspiracies are we talking about? Like, what other ones are out there? I don't think Jeff knows.
Proven true. Savvy says, I should add, app bros do this all the time. The best thing you could have done with the rise of the App Store, and still even now, is
That's
make
right.
stupid apps.
Which one? Which one, Smash? Which one?
Sell them. So that's what he was brainstorming with that one guy. Solinus says, Epstein was a Yuri fan who pushed microtransactions in games and is likely also the reason that Pokemon started sucking. And if he really did control Moot, then he banned Gamergate discussion from 4chan.
Dude, that's not even true. We just went through a whole thing where he may have encouraged it to open back up, right? He even talked about wanting to do like a left-wing, right-wing movement. Like, what are you... Just completely ignoring the complete other side of it. Only cherry picking out information they think they can make it look bad. I don't like Yuri, but that's because I'm gay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Gamergate has never been more vindicated. Epstein is likely also the reason that Pokemon chat was this downgrade Epstein's fault. Original. Weird. Very androgynous looking characters. It's funny looking back on it. Epstein must be kicking himself in hell upon realizing that if he had just left video games alone, his PDF ring wouldn't be tarnished by now. Reunion. According to these emails from 2018, Epstein and his team were following the latest releases in the gaming industry presented at E3, as well as keeping an eye on Metacritic scores. Makes you wonder why the gaming companies...
I don't know, but when you're talking about like Yuri is woke, because I'm pretty sure we've seen that same account like post Lolly and positively defend Lolly and things like that.
have been so obsessed with Metacritic scores. Well, that's curious. I do think there is something to be said for...
Oh, it's funny how he clipped that out too. I wonder what was in there. Or it was a nothing burger because yes, they're concerned with Metacritic scores.
The emphasis put on Metacritic. Reunion says, this is a report in the Epstein files that was sent in 2018 with several stocks being presented on a custom index, including CD Projekt Red, Capcom, Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, Nintendo, Sony, and Take-Two. There we go. More communication with Jeffrey Epstein and the video game industry. Investing, divesting, rock solid. I don't think a lot of you guys understand just how toxic you had to be to get banned on Xbox in 2013. This is from AF Post. Jeffrey Epstein was banned from Xbox Live in 2013 due to harassment, threats, and or abuse of other players. That was, quote, severe, repeated, and or excessive. This guy I know it goes without saying that he was the weirdest of weirdos, but if you've ever like seen
Just the weirdest of weirdos? Just the weirdest of weirdos? Is that how you describe the most prolific pedophile in history? Really? Rock Solid, Pirate Nation, Savvy, Jeff bringing the Tard Brigade. Yeah, it's this circle of them constantly jerking each other off. And then licking up the cum afterwards on their streams.
seen interviews with them, there's creepy, and then there's whatever the 20 levels past that is. That's halfway to approaching Jeffrey Epstein. Notice of permanent enforcement action of Jeffrey Epstein being banned from Xbox Live. And I said, Jeffrey Epstein spent $25.95 on V-Bucks on Fortnite. Very involved with gaming. Bounding into comics, Epstein files reveal the origins of microtransactions in gaming. Epstein apparently wanted the transactions to go both ways. Users could pay in, but then the game would also reward them with money, credits, or physical items.
What if I told you that Jeffrey Epstein is the origin of microtransactions?
He's not. He pushed for him. The origin of microtransactions is a little flaky, like we talk about the horse armor being the first one, but not entirely true, because there was I don't remember if it was a soccer game or a football game that used a card-based system in the game. It wasn't a microtransaction, but its format would be used to make the FIFA games and the sports games that we have today, turning what was he liked the real thing. Jesus Christ. Oh, Knox. Like it was the foundation of what was used to make the first card packs and loot boxes and, microtransactions in the West. Then you get to where like gacha and all that other stuff started coming up in the East, and how much money it made and how much gamings wanted to move into it. Jeffrey, on top of being a pedophile, was an investor. So he wanted these companies to make lots of money because he didn't give a shit about games. He gave a shit about making money off of the games. And he thought the best way to do that was to scrounge every penny out of everyone's pockets.
As part of the information being released in the Epstein files, we now know that Jeffrey Epstein himself was at the heart of microtransactions. In an email found in the release documents from the American government, Jeffrey Epstein appears to be suggesting that games should have transactions. He suggests that they go both ways.
And again, every time I bring up how they use games to get to the kids, I want everyone to remember this video.
Someone needs to put Smash away because he's not intelligent enough to feed himself. I'm convinced that he has to sit in a chair while his wife feeds him food, because if she doesn't, he'll fucking choke on it.
Because it got discovered that's exactly what they were doing.
Players are able to put money into the game, but also the gameplay generates some type of monetary or physical reward. To make matters worse, it would appear that Epstein's advisors also played a hand in the microtransactions that found their way into Call of Duty, most famously known as COD points, or CP.
Oh, that's what it was, COD.
I mean, come on. It's almost like they were drunk with power behind the scenes, and it would just...
Or some idiot like fucking pushed it through. I doubt Jeffrey Epstein was like, dude, you should call it CP points. That would be fucking hilarious. Now he's so stupid it takes him 2 hours to watch 60 minutes.
They're just fucking with people because they knew nobody could stop them. It's insane. Like, in hindsight, holy shit. How is this real life? The truth is stranger than fiction. I know I keep saying that, but holy shit.
There's more to Jeffrey Epstein in gaming than any of us may have expected. Subscribe to find out more.
So that is the Jeffrey Epstein, all going back to my frustration again. I think this is a prime example of his influence in injecting LGBTQ in the game.
it's very clear that he had some influence, right? Epstein thought the goyim was stupid, so it being called CP in purpose on purpose isn't the far fetched. Okay, that's fair enough. I can't decide if he's struggling with more playing Final Fantasy Tactics or coming up with stories off of all this. I mean, this is absolutely like brain dead to listen to. It's like the smallest things, and using like words that yo, what's going on, money? How you doing today? Using words like indoctrinate, or what was the word that they used? Or like rainbows, we'll say. We'll go with the rainbows, right? The rainbows are, look at the kid, they're making him draw rainbows. It's just, he's pulling at strings that don't exist. And him and his entire movement looks retarded for it.
Gaming industry by being buddy with people over at Activision Blizzard and getting someone inserted there after the previous person was unfortunately passed away.
5 people.
However, they disappeared from this planet. And then after that, slowly filling in the rest of the department with like-minded people from Activision Blizzard. It's just, I don't know, a little too convenient. Just a little too convenient. But I don't know. Make of it what you will. I can't help but draw the connection between the two. Let me know what you guys think about it.
Hear that? He can't help it. He's not smart enough to look at the information and see what's happening here in the background and how he is pushing the strings on microtransactions and all this other stuff. He thinks it's all Jeffrey Epstein who did it, and that no one else in the gaming industry could think for themselves, right? EA didn't push microtransactions in the beginning. This didn't happen. The guy is like, I feel sorry for him. I feel like I'm making fun of an actual retard, and it makes me feel a little bit bad. So what's the gimmick with having a camera on his dog? He's trying to do the Hassan thing, right? So that I guess he puts his dog up on there. What he needs to do is what like Falgi does with the op block, where he feeds the dog a treat whenever people get, so many, whenever they meet a goal, right? I'm thinking about, I should do something like that, but with the pigs, right? maybe if I ever start making money off of this, which is a great segue, by the way, into talking about my channel and shilling. We got a good 28 people here in chat today. I'm glad to see y'all coming out and enjoying everything. If you have not liked the stream, please just take your little finger, go down there to that thumbs up and give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. Helps me get spread to more people who can listen to my terrible takes. If you're super generous, my goal for this year is to get to 500 on my stream and get monetized. So if you're very generous and you like the content, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the bell, and you can come by anytime and have a chat with me and chat, or, enjoy the stream. Anyways, now that we're done with that, if anything, Epstein advocating to moot about the creation of POL ruined gaming discourse because it became a culture war when spearheaded Gamergate. Yeah, that's definitely clear in it. And that's actually why I've said multiple times on this stream that Jeffrey Epstein created SmashJT. It's his fault that SmashJT is here today. Oh, man. So we got one more video to watch. 23 minutes. Yeah, we can probably watch this. This one is off the topic, of SmashJT and into the VTuber right-wing anti-woke people that are around there, Nextaku and different things like this. Simon showed me this video. I figured it'd be fun to watch on stream to see if we get any, see what interesting things they have to say or talk about. So we're going to go ahead and watch this to finish up the stream. Also, if you're wondering what the game is on screen, this is Deck of Haunts, a in my hands, on a pretty awesome game. On sale right now, like 40% off or something like that. Yeah, 40% off, so you can pick it up. It's like $11 or something like that. I have had hours of fun with this so far, creating broken decks and seeing how far I can get. Being in the next Talk to orbit, times are dire for these people. Yeah, it's not looking good, especially with recent Tectone stuff coming out and everyone jumping to his defense, right? Just be aware she's a turbo leftist. That's fine. I'll call her soy when it comes up to let people know that I'm not a turbo leftist. So we'll get there.
And you're not outraged by the injustice done to Alex Pretty, the 37-year-old nurse who got executed in cold.
We're already starting off strong with this one. The game looks dope. I've been playing Star Wars Dark Forces 2. Hold on, that's an old game. I haven't heard. Hold on. I gotta. Forces. Oh man. You just hit a nostalgia plate. Anyway, I hope you're enjoying it. That was actually, I don't think I ever had the chance to play Dark Forces 2. I don't remember why I didn't. I was a big fan of TIE Fighter and what was the other one? There were two. TIE Fighter was a lot of fun playing that one. Base old game enjoyer. Hell yeah. We love our old games and our indies here. But anyway, already looking like we're going down this route. Like, I get it. I'm on the side of most people when I say that this was a wrongful shooting, and this is absolutely abuse of power and force and all the other things with there. I actually had a discussion with a buddy of mine about it who disagreed on the Green, is that her name? Green, who was trying to hit the vehicle. Like, there's, I think, an argument to be made there on whether it was a good shoot or not. But, he absolutely agreed that this one wasn't. And he said most of them think I'm more right-wing than them anyway. So let's keep going.
Blood by ICE federal agents in Minnesota recently, then this video just straight up isn't for you. Because what was done to that man and to Renee Good in just this month alone is absolutely heinous and a huge overreach of authority. This doesn't even include all the other injustices the same federal agency has done since Trump began wielding them like his own personal army, terrorizing families of both law-abiding immigrants and U.S. citizens alike. This shit's crazy. And I know, I get it. I'm a VTuber, so why am I getting political? People don't like watching VTubers who get political because, oh, well, I'm here for escapism. Well, guess what, bitch? I ain't a VTuber who LARPs 24/7. Hell, I don't even roleplay as my character and her lore convincingly most of the time. I use this as a medium, and I'm going to keep doing this because this is who I am, and I'm not an idol nor ever portrayed myself as one. So if you got a problem with me being me and being real here and there, reminding you that reality exists, then get the fuck out of my channel. You don't gotta announce it, by the way. I don't care.
She probably does use a voice changer. I feel like there's a huge portion of these VTubers that do use voice changers. I don't know anything about her. This is my first hearing of her. I've maybe seen her interact with Simon once or twice. I don't know.
Well, for the rest of you who graciously stayed this far, you're already 10 times cooler. This isn't how I wanted to start my first video of the new year, but, well, I'm genuinely worked up over the recent injustice and how some people have proceeded to talk about it, or the lack thereof. So let's get into the meat of this video, because as you may know, Western VTubing has a problem. A huge one. There's plenty of VTubers with large followings who spout out some of the most vitriolic stuff on the near daily. After all, the current political landscape of America didn't get this way overnight. It came about through months and years of building time.
It came about from Jeffrey Epstein. These people have zero speaking skill or charisma. I understand the politics are important and discourse is good, but it's just hard to take the half angel, half demon Kaitsune seriously. Yeah, I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. But But then again, I can't say much. I'm a wiggling little pig in the bottom right of the screen.
Tidal wave of red-pilled takes and anti-woke, anti-DEI slop from people like Asmongold and Tectone. And speaking of Tectone really quick, did y'all hear he lost his protective order case and was found to be guilty of SAing his ex-GF and now he can't own a gun for 10 years? Tectone had threatened me in one of my last videos nearly a year ago, and boy, does it feel so good to see him finally get known as the monster that he is. I stay winning. Anyway, in the VTuber side of things, we have
That's
Rev
right,
Says
Lucas.
Desu,
We're all subject to the elite.
Taku, Kershaw Verstal, just to name a few. And there are so many more. The thing all of these people have in common is that they all staunchly take stances against what they perceive as woke, a term that has been bastardized beyond belief to now mean anything remotely progressive or leftist, like being non-binary or wanting realistic body types and realistic women in games, rather than constantly skinny, perfect anime woman with gooner-appealing proportions. They also tend to all be
Why can't we just have both? Why can't we just have both?
transphobic for whatever reason, saying that all trans people are grooming children and are pedophiles despite having no evidence of the sort, and they cherry-pick situations to benefit their narrative rather than address the clear elephant in the room, Trump and the Epstein files, the literal pedophile defending
little base there, yeah.
administration that runs this fucking country? Hello? Y'all just gonna overlook all the actual pedophiles in power because it doesn't fit your hateful rhetoric against less than 1% of the population? Wild. But with the recent events that unfolded from ICE, the execution of Alex Pretty, I was personally furious at the
Just
events.
ask Grok
Many
to make it
VTubers and creators
beautiful.
in general spoke out this past weekend going fuck ICE or abolish ICE. Even creators that typically remained apolitical or rarely, if ever, talk about politics all had this stance. Even Charlie, moist critical himself, made a video about it saying that you should be angry, which if
Kirsch. Rev Says Desu and Nuxtaku is a horrific blunt rotation.
you're an American citizen, yeah, you should be. So much of the Constitution was stepped all over and disregarded from our free.
So I do wonder, here's one thing that I hear a lot from a lot of leftists going on. So I think I can comment on this, is a lot of them are spouting off about the Constitution and things like that when, and I don't know her, you know, I don't know Saphera and what her content entails, but you start to look back and realize how they didn't really give a shit that much back when they were the ones in power. Like there was a lot of free speech stuff that was freedom of consequences and all this other things. Maybe she's not that person. Maybe she's always been talking about it, but as like a hardcore constitutionalist guy, like I'm on their side about it only because I've always agreed with it. I feel like I'm always on a different political side because everyone else is constantly moving their beliefs.
Freedom of speech and peaceful protesting, to our Second Amendment rights and the right to bear arms, especially in a state that has open carry laws with a permit, which Alex Pretty did. So much injustice was done, but what have these VTubers who've poisoned this community and tarnished our reputation to the greater world have said about it? After all, Rev Says Desu, Nuxtaku, and Kershaw Verstal all openly love Donald Trump enough to bat for his shitty administration. Rev Says Desu, after all, said this shortly after Donald Trump became president with, "We won." A reminder that you are not garbage, a bigot, a Nazi, or whatever these freaks threw at you. You love your country and want what's best for everyone. Be proud of that. So, you love your country, huh, Rev? You love it so much that when the very administration you sucked up to decides to execute an innocent nurse who took care of sick veterans, whose dying words were, "Are you all right?" to a woman who got shoved by ICE agents who tried to intervene from her getting maced, when that man got shot multiple times in cold blood when he was already prone on the floor, how did Rev respond to such an atrocity? Oh.
Okay. All right, let's see here.
How did Rev respond to such an atrocity?
Dude, the ears moving are like fucking distracting me. My ADHD can't handle this.
Oh.
LARPs as a 1950s VTuber hates current federal agency that is more tame than any law enforcement agency of the time period, including in her LARP. What? Oh my God. Locks replies all you want. I think you are fully aware of your hypocrisy and baseless virtue. Jesus Christ. The tamest? Are we serious? Okay.
To a VTuber who said simply, fuck ICE, when they were far from the only VTuber who said this, by the way, he decided to quote retweet her and say, LARP as a 1950s VTuber, hates current federal agency that is more tame than any law enforcement agency of the time period included in her LARP. Lux replies all you want. I think you are all fully aware of your hypocrisy and baseless virtue signaling. It's amazing that Rev, in less than 24 hours from the tragedy, dares say ICE is more tame. Sure, lots of things happened in the 1950s, but Rev's message comes across as pretty tone-deaf when everyone was upset, including many Republicans who were starting to realize that Trump has gone too far, especially since Trump basically said the Second Amendment doesn't exist because you can't have guns. You can't walk in with guns. But also, if we're to use Rev's logic that...
It is funny seeing like the entire right completely flip on their issues with guns. It's, oh no, he shouldn't have had one there at a protest. I'm sorry. My First Amendment doesn't block out my Second Amendment. In fact, my Second Amendment is there to protect my First Amendment. That is true, but this was especially so. Which part of it, Money?
Miss Lala is LARPing as a 1950s diner waitress. Can we comment on Rev's hypocrisy for LARPing as a little girl despite being a grown-ass Christian man who has also harassed trans people and accused them of being groomers just because some trans people...
Rev says repeal the second. Does he? Let's see here. Doesn't your fan base advocate for child marriage? What in the actual fuck are you talking about? I tell you kids can't consent and you're even respond... Oh, you were responding to Lucius. You're good, bud. Other than made up bullshit that's there, liar complains about lies. Have you read the comments on your YouTube videos? Kids can't consent. Yeah, well, he's not engaging here.
Advocated for gender affirming care for trans kids?
Nare can be her own fucking beast in herself, like going over the top. On the left side.
If we're gonna falsely accuse people of being groomers just for telling kids, hey, gender affirming care exists, then not gonna lie, this leap in assumption makes me think people have every right to think all lolicons are pedos. Oh, you don't like that assumption? Then maybe you shouldn't jump to conclusions just because you don't like something. Any amount of research will tell you what gender affirming care entails, and that is simply, it does not make kids get surgery. Now, back to Rev. Rev makes a lot of assumptions about Miss Lala. Miss Lala has made this clear in her trailer that she does not have the 1950s values.
And don't be fooled by the aesthetics.
Okay.
This diner's...
Rev wants everyone to be like Tectone, no guns. Oh, man. From my cold, dead body.
It's all about vintage style, not vintage values. The diner is a home for...
I don't really think I'm that worried about the man who uses a lolly girl as his PFP coming in and taking my guns.
Everyone, and there will always be a stool at the counter waiting for you.
And Rev, assuming everyone from the 1950s was complacent in authoritative injustice, is clearly lacking a history book. In the 1950s, the civil rights movement was beginning to make waves. There was Brown v. the Board of Education and Rosa Parks as just two of the many incidents that happened in the 1950s.
Fun fact, I've actually met Rosa Parks. I'm curious as to what your opinion is on Metzi Wave. Is that the one she's showing? I don't know who Metzi Wave is.
The civil rights movement was beginning to make waves. There was Brown v. the Board of Education and Rosa Parks as just two of the major...
This diner is all about vintage style, not vintage values. The diner is a home for everyone, and there will always be a stool at the counter waiting for you.
And Rev, assuming everyone from the 1950s was complacent in authoritative injustice, is clearly lacking a history book. In the 1950s, the civil rights movement was beginning to make waves. There was Brown v. the Board of Education.
Was who's chill money? we talking about Metzi Wave? Who is Metzi Wave? Y'all are fucking psyoping me here. That I gotta go look. Stream's gonna run over, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm locked in right now. Oh, Rosa Parks. Yeah, she's pretty chill. She sat down the whole time. Oh, personal streamer. Yeah, it was nice to meet her. I mean, I was young. I was young when I did. Just search him up. He's got 120K subs. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see, Wave. Yeah, I've never dealt with this guy. Rational and right libertarian leaning. Yes, I like Hop. Dedicated to exposing the nonsense of clown world. Also memes. Interesting. I'll have to check out his channel. I don't know. I don't know anything about him, so I can't say anything on it, but I'll look at him. I'll take a look at him.
And Rosa Parks as just two of the many incidents that happened in the 1950s. To assume that everyone who lived in that time period was a happy, raging racist is just shallow and narrow-minded. But I assume nothing from Rev, who decided to claim ICE is, quote, more tame, less than a day after they killed an innocent U.S. citizen who did no wrong. To this, Miss Lala did respond to Rev's tweet going, if you
Yeah, back then we were dealing with the blacks, so it was different.
want to have a conversation about my actions, then come to me and let's have a conversation. My post wasn't directed towards you, and I don't know what I have personally done to you to warrant a targeted reaction about me to your community, to the point that I am receiving slurs from your community members. Ephesians 4:32, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. You're a man of faith, correct? You don't have to like my opinions, Rev, but you also don't have to antagonize your community against me. Now, Miss Lala did get absolutely horrendous people in her quote retweets and comments, all calling her slurs and racist things because she is openly Puerto Rican. Mix that with a lot of people who clearly support ICE, it's a hot cocktail of volatility, and locking replies honestly makes sense for someone who doesn't want to deal with that nonsense.
Yeah. I've always said it. I don't really care if people lock replies. I don't care if people block people. I do care when you use that as a weapon against people, saying, hey, they blocked replies, but you yourself block people. That's always been a weird thing for me.
Rev responded with, your, quote, conversation was saying, quote, fuck ICE. Also funny that he censors fuck here when he clearly has no issue saying fuck normally. And now you're trying to weaponize my faith against me. Poorly. Romans 13:1-7. Let everyone be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. You made a public post and people disagreed with you. You tell people to
What a cope using the Bible as to why you should just suck it up and lick the boots of the government.
have a conversation, but you immediately lock your replies when faced with criticism. Pointing out hypocrisy isn't unkind. I'm not antagonizing my community against you. If you want to play that game, just look at the replies from your own supporters towards me. You made an obnoxious virtue signaling post with no depth whatsoever. You got backlash. If you don't like that, then maybe don't dive into these topics publicly. Rev definitely got backlash for this because, oh, well, look what the newly converted Christian man is doing. Cherry-picking Bible verses to hide behind to pretend he's a good, wholesome, godly man. Absolutely pathetic. He's far from the only person who uses their religion as a shield from criticism, however. There's another VTuber who's recently joined the far-right grifting scene, though
You can use the Bible to justify almost anything if you find the right verse. Yeah. And a lot of times the context around that Bible verse is very different sometimes than what people are using. It's easy to take it and just turn it into whatever you want to believe in, right? The founding fathers were very much Christians, and they didn't believe in believing in government under, any circumstance. They believed very much in the opposite of that.
think she's nearly as well known on YouTube. If you got this far and haven't started bitching and moaning in my comments and clicked off this video, you'll definitely want to see how crazy this one gets.
Oh, you're
There's
woke,
a Christian
but
VTuber by the
I'm
name
not
of
that off of
Celestium,
it
who
yet.
first got some notoriety all the way back in October 2024 when she posted a clip going, "Am I being homophobic here?"
If you gay, it's a sin.
That's what the Bible says. Because it's a sin doesn't mean that we're attacking you. You know, I'd rather make you uncomfortable going to heaven than make you comfortable and send you to hell.
Fuck up, bitch. You going to hell anyways, you stupid.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I believe in the God of the Bible. I rebuke your demons.
At some point, you gotta shut up, bro. This is fucking Roblox, bro.
No, it doesn't matter, because everybody needs the word of God.
Stupid bitch. You over here being homophobic for what you used to sound dumb.
The answer is yes. Yes, she is. And those kids on Roblox are right to call her out on her BS. And she got a lot of backlash on Twitter during this time, but also as is Twitter normal.
For that, who is this? I don't know this one. Let me go back a little bit. Talks about God in Fortnite lobbies. So corny. Yeah, I don't understand that, right? Like, I understand the idea of you're supposed to go out and spread the word of God, but going into like video game area, it's always seemed weird to me.
Because it's a sin.
It just seems like you're trying to start trouble for clicks and views.
Doesn't mean that we're attacking you. You know, I'd rather make you uncomfortable going to heaven than make you comfortable and send you to hell.
Fuck up, bitch. You going to hell anyways, you stupid.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, because I believe in the God of the Bible. I rebuke your demons.
At some point, you gotta shut up, bro. This is fucking Roblox, bro.
No, it doesn't matter, because everybody needs the word of God.
Stupid bitch. You over here being homophobic for what you used to sound dumb.
The answer is yes. Yes, she is. And those kids on Roblox are right to call her out on her BS. And she got a lot of backlash on Twitter during this time, but also as is Twitter norm, she got a lot of people calling her based and "You're so brave for speaking up on your religion. F those Twitter freaks." So, yeah. Anyway, she's been on that grift ever since and has been staunchly outspoken against trans creators like Nyara, misgendering these women by deliberately calling trans women with he, him pronouns, and says stuff like, "This person will never be a woman." In addition, shortly after Renee Good got murdered, Celestium had this to say, "That's it. I'm getting an ICE-inspired outfit for my
owned by
Vtube.
Roblox kids. That's probably the worst part of it.
I'm so tired of the horrendous takes from these leftist/liberal VTubers.
Oh, is this the chick that did the ICE outfit? I'm so tired of the horrendous takes on these leftist liberal VTubers. It's not just leftists and liberals, dude. I watch a lot of vets, and I've been watching even more since. And there's a lot of vets that are turning against ICE in this situation. I mean, you've got fucking bootlickers like Brandon Herrera, who he's so politically entwined now with Trump. I guess he can't go up there. His Texas will fucking eat him alive if he does it. And the angry cop, I'm fucking pissed off about that one. That dude was fucking bootlicking like there's no tomorrow. Completely biased video on what happened, calling the Alex shooting a legal shoot, when I don't think anyone could call that a legal shoot.
Animigra coming to a stream near you. Let's bring it to life for real. She's Latino, by the way. She then begs to be funded on her throne with, "La Animigra needs your help. All tourists will be deported. JK, just the people illegally in America."
Yeah.
And during the recent Alex Pretty murder, she, of course, did not care. She saw Rev's quote retweet of Miss Lala's tweet and said, "She also openly supports or is part of the LGBT herself, if I recall. Miss Lala quoting scripture makes me wonder if she's truly of the faith or simply cherry-picking to save face. Genuinely disappointed that she's got an attitude towards law enforcement and using scripture when it suits her." Listen, Celestium, we get you hate gay people, but y'all really do like having a Christian icon in your name and act like absolute bigots. This is an insult to those who are good practicing Christians who remember to love thy neighbor as thyself. Because I just want to make it clear, I don't have anything against Christians who show true love and peace to all. I do have a problem with those that weaponize religion as a shield while they continue to be an openly hateful person. There's a huge difference. Now, when someone challenges her, she's really Christian, she says, I don't see any love from these protesters who are being funded by criminal organizations and actively causing unrest in their towns. I don't enjoy seeing the loss of life on either side, as I've said multiple times, but I also know God did not call for...
On either side, has there been fucking ICE that have been killed? There was that one freaking actual Nazi, that dude who was an actual Nazi, got the shit kicked out of him and eventually got saved. But other than that, no, they haven't had any. Now, what is funny is that several of them working in the detention centers and other areas have been accused of rape or convicted of rape.
people to be this unruly in their, quote, protests. And then when the person calling them out says, and then they should be killed then, any kill ICE makes is one step closer to more public outrage. We are tired of it, and now more voices keep raising. Sorry, but I'm genuinely starting to believe your kind are using religion as a tool and are not in fact Christians. And Celestium responds, if someone has a weapon confirmed or uses their vehicle as a weapon, they pose a threat to the public. Only in those instances should law enforcement draw their weapons to protect.
Absolute anti-fucking, there was an ICE officer that got a finger bit off. Oh, yeah. I remember that guy. That we can say is, yeah, that's illegal. That guy shouldn't have got his finger bit off. But I think that's the worst of it. That I've seen. Absolutely anti-constitutional government bootlicking behavior from her. No, me having a gun does not mean law enforcement has the right to pull a gun on me. That's not how it works. Welcome to America, bitch, where everyone's got guns. Go get yourself one. Go get yourself trained in it. Learn the laws. Read your Constitution. I'm giving Lawnmower Simulator a 4 out of 10. Really? That low? I figured that'd be a good game, right?
Protect those in the crowd if possible. As I said, I don't like the loss of life on either side, but if you bring a weapon of any sort to the scene, expect to possibly lose your life. Both major instances had people using some form of weapon/vehicle. The governor and Antifa should stop sending people out on these organized crime protests, and we could all move on. So she is blaming Alex Pretty for having a holstered gun when he's allowed to do so in an open carry state such as Minnesota with a permit, which he had. Right. Also,
touching grass is hard for all of us. That's fair. That's fair. I think the 4 out of 10 should be justified. I hate grass too, money.
Mention all the other crazy conspiracy bullshit like protesters are paid actors from Antifa. Hey, just a heads up, if we're getting paid to protest, why don't you just go out and march on the streets and get paid for just walking around holding a sign? Easy money, right? Just do it. Prove it's real. Expose the system. Anyway, there's another alt-right parroting bigot who also believes your constitutional rights don't exist under Trump. Here we have Kershaw Verstaal. She has previously said white supremacist talking points and even has an open Nazi fan and interacts with openly Nazi creators, all of which I've mentioned before in a previous video. She also is very much pro-Trump, so much so that she literally had this art as her Twitter banner for a while, parodying when Trump supposedly almost got assassinated and got shot in the ear, which, by the way, is mysteriously healed now. Anyway, I got curious what Miss Pro-MAGA was up to during the Alex Pretty stuff, and calling the officers there to arrest criminal illegals violent and untrained is part of the problem, Arsler. You are incensing people who are radicalized and it will put their lives in danger. What's sickening is your and the other so-called leaders of Minnesota's behavior. I will genuinely never understand people going out and protesting getting rid of rapists, murderers, and violent felons who are here.
This is the thing about this whole thing. It's always rapists, murderers, and felons, when, in fact, huge population of it is people that already had green cards legally in the United States. In fact, there was something about like one of the senators basically saying it was too much work to get an administrative warrant or to get a judicial warrant. You know, they're breaking laws on the United States, but these guys don't care that they're breaking law because what they're saying sounds like something I want. It's just dumb people who are absolutely fucking subjected to propaganda. They'll believe anything. I love that they will call or imply Purdy was radicalized, but even the DOJ is still hunting for any proof he was in any way a radical. Yeah, he seemed like a guy who was, you know, for veterans. It's really hard when you have a nurse who's there for the VA, helping veterans out. Then to come around and try and paint him as a radical. Like that video they tried to use of him kicking in the window. Yeah, or kicking in the light. Sure, yeah, that was illegal. Maybe they should have arrested him for it. They didn't. But also, you notice they didn't shoot him even though he had a gun on his back. I find that curious.
Here illegally. All the propaganda, all the lies, putting their own lives on the line by confronting officers directly. And for what? Gee, Kershaw, I wonder why people are out there in the streets protesting their friends, neighbors, and family getting murdered and abducted. Who would ever do such a thing? Risking yourself for another human being? What the fuck? She then says a few hours later, I am incredibly frustrated. I don't want to continue seeing senseless loss of life. These people LARPing as revolutionaries shouldn't be trying to fight with ICE/CBP, especially over criminals. Democrat politicians inciting their base are absolutely making things worse. Kershaw, miss, you shouldn't be able to use your First and Second Amendment rights to do a peaceful protest and carry a gun but not draw it. Yikes. Y'all really need to do this grift thing to work out with your ignorant audience, huh? And of course, she also backs up Rev because they all love to gang up and try to shit on the woke libs for clout points in their red-pilled echo chamber.
The other thing is, you know, they talk about echo chambers, like she just mentioned. They talk about everyone else being in echo chambers when they're literally in the echo chambers. They only talk with each other. They don't debate with anybody else. They'll make a few Twitter comments at low-hanging fruit people, or maybe someone who has a following because it might get them some likes, but they'll never go on stream with those guys. They'll never try and talk it out. So very definition of an echo chamber.
Having a disagreement on Twitter is not worth an uninvolved people trying to struggle session a sponsor into dropping a creator. If we play by the logic of Rev sent his community to say mean words in Lala's reply, which he didn't do, then Lala sent her community to financially ruin Rev by threatening his sponsor also is in play, which I don't think she did. And the latter looks far worse. Attempting to throw weight in order to strike fear into companies to bend the knee to you is shit cunt behavior. Do not negotiate with these kinds of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen her go after the low-hanging fruit Andes. It's because most of them won't pop back at her. She's looking for someone who's going to block, right? In the beginning of my interactions with Savvy, she would try and fucking talk to me. But when I would hit back, it was just it. She would stop. And what they do is they mute you instead of blocking you because they know you'll make fun of them for blocking you. So, you know, they do it a little bit different. Yeah, Leaflet did go on and have a debate. I'll give that one. But yeah, I got absolutely destroyed.
Companies who stand by their creators, especially in the face of these kinds of tactics. I'll put Rev and Strabi stuff below. Now, all this Advanced GG stuff is still currently ongoing, but essentially Advanced GG is an energy drink company of which Rev says Desu and his wife Darling Strabi are very much one of their partners. Many have expressed frustration that Rev is allowed to be openly pro-ICE and still work with...
Yes, Lucius. She very much was incredibly anti-Trump until recently. In the last few years, we'll say. She hated him in 2016.
Advance, despite Advance working within Minnesota, the very state where so much ICE-related atrocities are currently happening. This will be its own thing as it plays out, so for now, I'll just leave it at that. But recently, Advance GG did say they, quote, do not support extremism or hate. We have zero tolerance for harassment, threats, doxing, or content that marginalizes any community. We are committed to inclusivity, respect, and maintaining a community where people feel safe and welcome. But anyone familiar with Rev's content and his audience? No, that's anything but safe and welcoming. As he has personally harassed me while defending his friend Kershaw for reading explicit porn.
I will say, this is the soy thing that bothers me. It's like, he has harassed me. he tweeted you or mentioned you in a video, it's just not harassment. I'm sorry. Like you can talk, like there is a fine line. We get into like SmashJT and the year plus of videos and constantly moving out and the encouragement of harassing and things like that. You start getting into a deeper line. But just because someone makes a tweet and they have an audience doesn't mean that when people start attacking you for that tweet or going on Twitter, because attacking is doing a lot of work in that phrase, it's not harassment. I'm sorry.
On stream. I already made a video on these two before, so go check it out if you're missing out. Back to Kersha. She is essentially saying, oh, you guys are trying to financially ruin a man, but he did sort of incite harassment on Lala in the first place. No one told him he had to quote retweet and make fun of her with his bad flimsy assumptions. Anyway, everyone's currently losing faith in Advanced GG at the moment because of Rev, and many VTubers have already separated from gamer subs because of Kersha last year, because both of these people have advocated for hate with their communities. But if you're sitting there wondering, man, where can I get my energy drink supplements now? Well, how about checking out Rogue Energy? Feel free to use my code Noma for 20% off your purchase if you want energy drink supplements that are sugar-free and taste pretty good. My personal favorites are
We'll give someone a good shill when they give a good shill.
their hydration and chill packs, because I don't really feel the need to have all that caffeine in my life. Their hydration flavors are honestly pretty nice and pretty yummy. So go check them out if you're interested in some.
The problem is with side scrollers, money, is they're never going to bring anybody on, right? They'll just sit there on their little podcast, again, blowing smoke up each other's assholes and not really engaging with anything that's being said. They just never have and never will. Always for low-hanging fruit.
Something that partners with me. Oh, and if anyone comes at me going, oh, but aren't you inciting harassment with this video? No, I'm not. Criticizing and reminding how these other creators are hateful is not the same thing as condoning harassment of these individuals. This is educational, and it's not hateful to point out intolerant people who want people like me dead or without rights. Back to the video, Kersha has also made a parody post on the recent ICE post made by outraged American citizens by saying fuck ICE, with this playing.
I like these like strap things. A bunch of the agents have them. These I don't know what these straps are for, if they're like part of keep.
They're for pro masks. That looks like a strap for the pro mask on your belt. Now, I don't see like the big bag, but that would be my guess, is it's probably to hold some kind of bag. In fact, this little bag right here, that looks like a pro mask bag. So a gas mask for anyone who doesn't know what a pro mask is. So that would be my guess, because that looks exactly like the one I used to have back in the old days. Echo chamber based networking is the reason almost any of them has success. It's why they ankle bite people like Asmon so much. Oh yeah, that's completely what it is. I'm only here because I wanted to see what Stuttering Craig was up to, just to find out he had Trump enslavement syndrome, and went down the rabbit hole and found you felting SmashJT. Well, I'm glad that that is the rabbit hole that brought you to me, money. Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. That's the best description of someone finding me I've ever heard.
Keeping the holster like stuck to their thigh or something, but all of these thigh straps really highlight the large bulges on the agents. Not to like objectify them or anything, but like it's kind of hot. Stop looting the feds. I will loot the feds. It is my right as an American citizen.
Right. She wants to fuck ICE, as in get down and dirty with her totally visible bulges. All right. Anyway, as I'm sure you get by now, the Western VTuber community has been overrun by these bigoted, pro-fascist creators that have honestly polluted the audience pool for VTuber watchers. Many outside of the VTuber space literally think of us all as grifter freaks who only show our physics for thirst clicks, and that's so far from the truth. But progressive voices like mine are also shunned within this very community, overshadowed by the more prolific and easy to spread hatred and vitriol of those on the far right. There's many in the scene who are progressive like me in this space, but they are afraid to speak up in general because, well, voices like mine do
It's okay, progressives. The right-leaning center will speak up for you in these trying times until you're in power doing the exact same thing with the opposite political view. I don't remember how I found you. Probably was you commenting on Antiwoke grifting account. Whatever happened to that account anyway? He's just disappeared. Antiwoke grifting account. Which one? The saddest part is people will follow, subscribe to people because the very large account promotes them, but they don't actually like their content. So GG channel with the 50K subs gets the views of a 3K. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's why I've always said I don't want to get injected with fans just from me, like going in and begging for views. Essentially, it's like the difference between me and nobody. For those who don't know, nobody is a guy who was he's the mod for SmashJT, or a mod for SmashJT, and he got like an injection of like 2,000 subs, and I haven't looked at him in a while, but the last time I looked at him, he was not doing very well. 2,000 subs, but he was still only getting around the same amount of people I was getting, which is normally like around 5 or 10 people. So it was ran by someone named Kale. Oh, I think I remember that one. They probably just dropped off. Griff's not going well. Who also needs these guys? Need some, right? But let's finish this up here.
Get bullied into silence. I'm sure if you look in the comment section, you'll find many who will be combative, probably calling me the R slur and all sorts of vile things, and some might even try saying, you will never be a woman, despite me being cis female. Overall, outspoken voices like mine get labeled as political, whereas anti-woke rhetoric gets labeled simply as drama. In reality, those anti-woke grifters are being political, but some of you are too dense and narrow-minded to see the truth. Overall, this entire situation in the VTuber scene is tiring, but I will always remain a voice for my own beliefs, for the human rights of all, and I will never tolerate those that would never tolerate me or my friends. Never let these creators forget the atrocious things they have supported, made fun of, and ridiculed during this tumultuous time. Whenever the pendulum swings back, I guarantee you these guys will try their best to grift their way back, saying, guys, remember when I was woke? But I hope no one lets them forget that currently.
It's funny you talk about 8-Bit Eric money. I occasionally interact with him online. I didn't actually know about 8-Bit Eric until I accused SmashJT of doxing. And then out of nowhere, when I showed the proof, fucking 8-Bit Eric came out of nowhere and started fucking blocking for him. And then Nobody and Cult Classic tried to talk shit behind a ban on me. It was funny. Oh, thank God she's an actual woman. Poor synth, though. Well, okay, you can't say, she says she's a cis female, but do we really know, right? Do we really know?
In this present day, these creators have long promoted and been careless, heartless monsters who supported the abduction and execution of innocents, who ridiculed and mocked the atrocities done by the very administration they uplifted. Some of these creators hide behind religion to pretend they are faultless and above all and can never be criticized, but never let them forget. And it's not just those that I have openly named today. There are so many more who have made content that promotes such vitriolic beliefs, even in subtle ways. But those subtleties can put you down the wrong pipeline if you aren't careful. Always stay educated, always know the facts, and ultimately stay true to your beliefs. But if your beliefs tell you that a person who's trans, who's queer, who's a different skin color or a different gender than you has to lose their rights, you don't belong in my community, and you never will. Because love for our fellow neighbor is not possible when it is built upon prejudices and discrimination and oppression. Thank you for watching.
Thank you
Till
for
next
that
time,
soy slop.
keep it vibing.
Thank you for the information on the people. Not a bad video. Go give her some love. online. I mean, yeah, not bad. Obviously, very, very woke, so some of my audience will probably like that. 8-bit is so blatant, obvious, it's unreal. So many Twitter followers, but next to no views on his SmashJT skinwalking copy paste slop. Yeah, it's really crazy because I looked into when I was looking into SmashJT's history, I found 8-bit Eric in there, and he was against SmashJT for like much of their history together, and then just completely turned. It seems like because SmashJT started getting popular, but it may not have been for that. Who knows? People turn to the anti-woke bullshit for a variety of different reasons. A lot of them, it seems to be, because their channels are dying. I got a new mouse today because my old one broke. I don't understand how this G502 is so popular. Like, it's fine, but it's big for me. I got big hands. You saying you can't handle that thing? You might have to use 2 hands. Is that what we're saying? Is it black? Damaged? Is it black? Well, you're black, so why does that matter? That would just be black on black. Yeah, I thought the video was pretty good despite my original opinion. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. There you go. Money says he loves it. I have a little freaking razor right now that just works for me. But I probably gonna need a new mouse before too long. But with that, guys, I want to thank all of you for coming by. If you're here and you have not yet liked the stream, by all means, on your way out, give it a little click, help me out. And as I've said previously, I'm on my road to 500. So I'm trying to get, a little bit bigger. So if you liked this show you see today, or you want to watch any of my videos, go ahead and give me a subscription and hit that notification bell. I like to stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So good stream. Thank you, Lucius. Thank you, Red Stain. You guys have a wonderful night. Hey, thanks for the huge like, Money.